food, freshly made and served. Delicious food, freshly made and served.
Crawly got into the cooking pot.
Delicious food, freshly made and served.
Good numbing. Hello YouTube. I hope you're all doing well and you've been well in this turbulent weather we've been having here in the UK. I hope you had a wonderful International Women's Day yesterday and learned a lot from your from the people in your lives, regardless of where they may be, whether it's family or friends. Had a nice historical lesson in how significant women have been to history. Wish it wasn't just for a fucking day, because some of it's really cool. But, you know, likewise there'd be men every other day, but whatever. And in general, I've just been really doing alright. I'm a bit better rested, I'm a bit more back to life. I'm back to the bloody work schedule, so obviously I won't be able to stream forever again. But hopefully we can have a good stream today and just kind of vibe it out with the new story content for Genshin, which came out a little under 2 weeks ago, I think. It's just, you know, schedule be schedules. We haven't had the chance to really sit down and do it. The intention today is to cover the whole Archon quest no matter what. If we have time afterwards, do Dehya's, and if we're, like, really ahead of it, start the event. But the event, I've left it as is, so, like, if we get a chance to start it, we do. If we don't, I'll do it off screen. You know, like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. So let's just carry on and crack on and get started as always. As always, remember to like and subscribe. It genuinely really helps this channel. We had a bit of a blip. I've been talking about all week, like maybe we'll start Hades. Well, we had a bit of a blip and about 3 bots got purged, I believe. It might have just been people unsubscribing. If that's the case, that's fair enough. I just do my thing. If it's not for everyone, or if you don't want to be here forever, I'm not going to stop you. It was just very sudden 3-piece drop, which is what made me think maybe there was a bot purge or something. But so we're back down to 445 as is, but oh well. You know, oh well. We take it on the chin. I never expect too much from this channel. I think that's the biggest thing I should always make a point before we actually get started properly. I do this for fun. I do this because I really enjoy doing it. I do this as a hobby, basically. And anyone who wants to hop in and enjoy the ride with me is more than welcome to, and I thank you for it because it just adds to the fun. If there's ever a position where I can make money off of it, and I can, you know, grow from it, then sure, yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that. We'll have that conversation when it's relevant. But as it stands, I'm just cool with it. So us getting pushed slightly further away from the sub goal, I'm like, you know what? Oh well, look, we'll get to it when we get to it, you know. I spent all week going on about it, but it doesn't mean like it's the end all be all. Like we have to hit it, we must, you know. It's just me trying to hype you guys up to try and get you guys excited for it for when we do hit it. Admittedly. But that's enough of that. Let's actually get started with this story. As always, as well, you can find my Twitter and Patreon in the description of every single video if you feel so inclined.
Huh? Wait, you're that blonde traveler who's on a journey to all corners of Teyvat, right?
You know, I do have a name. Why is it in all these story quests? It's always, oh, that traveler. They could at least say in the subtitles, Emmy. Like, it's implied they're saying our name or something.
Who's asking? Do you need something from us?
You bet I do. I was worried I wouldn't be able to find you. I have a letter for you, you see. It's from another Outlander.
Ooh.
He was a crafty fellow, let me tell you. Took advantage of a loophole in our mailing system by opting for guaranteed delivery, then filling in the most obscure mailing address I've ever seen.
That sounds like a pretty easy loophole.
Well, we are always on the road, so yeah, unless we happen to go to the post office on a whim.
Is there even a post office in this game? I'm trying to think. It's like, is there even like a proper post office location? Or do we just like go to the Adventurers Guild?
So, what address did that person give you anyway?
He just wrote, next to a small, white-haired talking fairy.
What? So the address is Paimon?
Yes, Paimon, you are nothing but a landmark now.
Yeah, exactly, right? And if I failed to deliver the letter, I'd have been bound by regulation to compensate him.
Oh wow, you really got done dirty by that then, huh? That's a real easy loophole.
Really, he got me good. I count myself very lucky that I ran into you here.
Great, well, let me see this letter. Have you seen this letter? I'm really curious if we could have sent it.
Of course, here it is. All yours.
Come on, Paimon wants to have a look too.
It's been a while. Oh, it's Kaya. I'm trying to think. Kaya's voice. It's been a while. How have you been? I've heard that the two of you are travelling in Sumeru. If I happen to be in Port Ormos, and I happen to be on Port Ormos on official business. Lately, I've been stopping by Jafar Tavern for a drink or two every afternoon. If luck's on my side, and this letter successfully reaches you, come to me then, and we can catch up on old times. We'll see it as a fated encounter. Your trusty buddy, Kaya.
Kaya, huh? So he's here in Sumeru.
I like how Lisa was in Sumeru in the last event.
He does describe him.
I know I didn't get to cover it because, you know, I only really covered like the big one. But Lisa was in last event, you know, just kind of doing her thing, like returning thing. And now we've got Kaya. It's like, when's Amber showing up? I think as I say that, Coley, the new current event that's going on right now, you take Coley over to Mondstadt. So there is a bit of that, but I haven't seen anything of it. All I know is that Sino cracks a lot of jokes, and I can't wait. Yeah, I can't say I'm hugely surprised. This is definitely Kaya's style.
From what he wrote in the letter, it looks like he didn't think there was much chance of it reaching us. Or maybe he's just being sneaky. Do you think he's making this sound like a miracle of fate so that we'd have to go meet up with him?
Well, no harm done. It'll be nice to catch up with him.
Yeah, you're right. It's always nice to see old friends. The letter says that he hangs out at Jafar Tavern every afternoon.
Jafar.
Perhaps we should drop
Oh, so you
in
don't
every
pronounce the
day,
D,
huh?
got it. It's literally Jafar as in like the villain from Aladdin, got Jafar. The Karabert. Act 6. Jesus Christ. That just crossed my mind. I was like, hang on a minute. Act 6 of this chapter. What did they say? 4 in the afternoon. I only kind of briefly glanced at the objective marker. I think they said 4 in the afternoon. But I hope you're all doing well as always. A bit of interesting news. My Grim Guardian playthrough, I might have to change the title of it soon. Because, Inti Creates got a trademark complaint. And so they'll be changing the title soon. Because Grim Guard filed a trademark complaint to Grim Guardians. Which I guess is close enough, but I would have been like, really? Come on. You know? So it'll be changing its title to Gal Guardians, which just puts the whole, like, Gun Gal, but with Castlevania even more on the front line. Like, it makes it even more exposed. Like, yeah, that's what they're doing, which is fair enough, but we'll see. If it updates, like, on the, like, everything, so to speak, then yeah, I'll change my title to be Gal Guardians to make it more appropriate for those streams. Which will be weird, because then you'll watch those streams, if you ever watch the archive of them, and I'll be calling them Grim Guardians all game, and you'll see on the live stream it's called Grim Guardians, like, anytime you fire up the title screen, but whatever.
Something I haven't tried yet.
I probably have to, like, make a pinned comment or something on those streams, and just be like, hey, this game was once called Grim Guardians, but due to a trademark complaint, they changed it. So you hear me refer to it as this is what I meant, etc.
Sorry, sir. I'm afraid you've already tried every type of liquor we serve.
Oh? Well then, just the bill, please. That's just as well, I suppose. I do have other matters to attend to.
Kaya, you're really here! Paimon half thought you were playing some sort of prank on us.
Hey, Paimon, traveler. Looks like the gods smile upon me after all. And come now, I wouldn't joke about wanting to see my good friends.
The only thing is there's a number of times where there's like a new event comes over that features an old character that maybe hasn't been involved in any story things for a while, and they sound different. And I always have to take a step back and realize, like, oh yeah, right, this game's been around for 2.5 years. Some of these voices, although it's still the same voice actors and whatnot, they have, aged. It has been. It's not like when you pick up a sequel and the voice sounds slightly different because it's been a few years from the separate material. No, this is still the same game. It's just 2.5 years have passed. So, like, I'm listening to Kaya here, and I'm like, man, he doesn't sound like like what I think of when I think of Kaya. And then I remember, oh, wait a second, it's been 2 years. The game's been around for 2 years. The voice I'm thinking of is still 1.0. We missed you too.
Wait a second. You must be here on official business, right? What do you think you're doing spending every afternoon drinking at the tavern? You itching for a lecture from Jean?
Not at all. The acting Grand Master positively terrifies me. Why would I ever do anything that might displease her?
Very believable.
The truth is, I'm in Sumeru to learn about the alcohol industry here. So despite how it might look, I'm actually at Jafar Tavern for strictly business purposes. Sumeru's spices are famous the world over, and it's long been rumored that this fine establishment was where a certain very popular spiced cocktail was invented.
Spiced cocktail? Can't think of anything worse.
That's why the knights sent
maybe I'm just uncultured.
Expert in alcoholic beverages to come and see if it is as good as the rumors say.
And how did that go?
So far, so good.
I should really just put it on autoplay, but I always want to read as I go. Even though I read quicker than the voices talk. Like, I should really just press square and let it auto-advance.
Yeah, that does sound like a great business opportunity. Guess Don Winery and Master D-Luke are gonna make a tidy sum from this one too, huh?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Whether this lucrative opportunity gets passed along to Don Winery or not depends on how nice I'm feeling.
Hey! Using your job to settle personal grievances isn't very knightly, Captain!
I'm guessing you've been to Sumeru before.
Oh? What makes you say that?
You came to Sumeru all on your own, so you must be quite familiar with the place.
Very sharp of you. I wouldn't say I'm familiar, though. I just came here on the sly once, when I was very young.
And? Do continue.
Do I have to? When I said we could talk about the old times, digging up my past wasn't exactly what I had in mind.
You don't have to go into great detail.
Well, all right, since you're so interested. Like I said, I was very young then. Don Winery had only just taken me in. I overheard my adoptive father talk about sending a team of merchants to Sumeru during a business meeting.
Oh, right, and you just kind of sat on the boat, huh? You conveniently, ended up on the boat.
I'm sure you'll agree that everyone's curious about their roots on some level. And my roots? They're in Conria, which is said to have been located deep underground, somewhere near Sumeru.
Wait, really? I didn't realize that. Sumeru's, like, not on top of the ruins of Conria, but it's actually that close to it? Conria?
And so I stowed myself away amidst the cargo, and silently joined the merchant delegation on their trip to Sumeru. But it wasn't long before the merchant delegation received news that I'd gone missing. Their leader promptly found me, and before I knew it, my adoptive father was dragging me back home by the ear. It was a short-lived adventure. Sorry I don't have a more thrilling story for you.
Speaking of Conria, how much do you know about it?
Honestly, not much. The only reason I knew that Conria was near Sumeru is because I happened to read that in a book when I was young.
Oh shit, hey Dainsliff! Hope you're doing well.
My life had less and less to do with Conria as I grew up, and so I started caring less as well. I used to believe that I had inherited.
I should have known. It's like bringing up Conria is like his summon beacon. It's like his bat signal.
But then I began to wonder. Maybe my father left me in the peaceful land of Mondstadt for no other reason than simply to give me a happier life. A happy life sounds good to me, of course, even if it means being cut off from certain things. This is obviously all speculation. Simply put, I'm afraid that I'm not particularly in the know on this topic. These days,
I'm waiting.
my surname, Alberich, is probably the only link to Conria that I have left.
So I'm waiting for Dane to come in and be like, "You're from Conria."
One death after
Oh, here he is.
please, boss.
Dane Sliv!
Tell me, what do you know about the significance of that name, Alberich?
Fucking Dane. No hesitation, like a champ, just comes in, sits down, and goes, "So, what do you know about this name?"
Dainsleif?
Ah, you've decided to join us. I was wondering how long you planned on listening in. I believe I've seen you before.
Well, yeah, we first
Mondstadt.
met Dane in a tavern in
Dane,
Mondstadt,
sir,
so
if
yeah,
I'm not
back in
mistaken.
1.3. Oh, God. Oh, God. So long ago. And it was like such a tiny little thing in 1.3 that was setting up, like, the main quest of 1.4, when we actually got to see everything happen and get our first tease at the reunion of the siblings.
So you remember me. Then we are already acquainted, Kaya Alberich, descendant of the Abyss Order's founder.
Huh?
The Abyss Order?
What?
I take it that you weren't aware of this until now, Kaya. Or you wouldn't have been so forthcoming with your surname.
Oh my. That's quite a lot of baggage for a surname.
I think
isn't
Kaya's
it?
just kind of taking it on the chin. He's
Though
like,
I
"Eh,
must
whatever."
say, it does confirm an old suspicion of mine. I suppose that was why my father left
Yeah,
me in
to protect
Mondstadt
you.
after all.
I'm surprised that you take me at my word without the faintest hint of skepticism.
Well, to be fair, Dane Sliff. Actually, no, I'm on your side of this one. Why wouldn't you doubt someone like that? It looks like this.
Well, perhaps what you told me just happens to answer some questions I carry in my memories. And in any case, I recognize your eyes. You're a pure-blood Conrian, aren't you?
Ooh, really? That spotted?
Very clever. Forgive me for being direct, but I sincerely hope this new knowledge doesn't change anything. If you've already let go of your ties to the past, then keep it that way.
Kaya, you're not involved with the Abyss Order in any
No,
way,
Paimon, of course
are
he
you?
isn't.
Hey, hold on now. This conversation has taken a rather sudden turn for the deadly serious. And I'm afraid that as someone from Mondstadt, I'm not accustomed to this sort of atmosphere. So what if I know my ancestry? Do I strike you as the type who would be bound by that kind of thing? Relax. I'll be just as delighted to hunt down the Abyss Order tomorrow as I have always been.
I trust you,
Either
Kaya.
way, looks like we're out of time. I've got a spice merchant to meet in a minute, so I'll leave the three of you to carry on the conversation without me.
Well, alright then. You go do your thing, Kaya.
See you around. And Dainsleif, no need to listen in from the sidelines next time we meet. Let me buy you a drink.
I think Dane has his doubts.
You don't really trust him, do you, Dane? You're both from Conria, but you get on like oil and water.
The fact is, I still do not know him well. It would be meaningless for me to jump to conclusions.
Shit. At least Dane's being honest.
But can a person truly be unaffected by their ancestry? This remains to be seen.
I thought my sibling was the founder.
Well, I suspect that they call your brother their prince, precisely because there is a succession of sorts.
Sure.
Oh, so if he was the founder, he'd be the king, right?
So what do you plan to do here in Sumeru? I like how pissed Lumine looks. Is it because the conversation's turned on to about, you know, the troubles of her brother?
I mean to investigate the Loom of Fate. Do you remember that name?
Yeah, the Abyss Order's evil plan. We learned about that back in Mondstadt.
Not new. Not exactly. My memories suffer from erosion. But while I was recovering my health recently, I suddenly remembered something. Your brother. He mentioned the Loom of Fate back when
So I
we
had to quickly
traveled
go do something, so I just put on autoplay for a sec. Anyway, yeah, Loom of Fate was something we heard about briefly in Mondstadt fucking forever ago, so it's been a while, so yeah, it didn't really come to my mind eventually. So this was already a thing several centuries ago.
Apparently so. I was also quite surprised when these memories tallied up. I recall that we were traveling to Sumeru when the matter was brought up.
So, you're going to the place that he mentioned back then?
Correct. At that time, they must have been introduced in one way or another to this concept. If I recall correctly, We were somewhere in a Vidya forest then.
Then let's go to the Vidya forest.
What are we waiting for? Let's go! Maybe we'll discover some secret that's lain hidden for hundreds of years!
No. Now is not the time.
Are we waiting for the perfect moment?
No, it's just, I'm still waiting for my drink.
Oh, Dane finishes his drink, then you prepare to travel to a Vidya forest. At least he's got a sense of humour. Oh, you're right, that's to say, that's way the fuck up here. I haven't done my dailies today, so ignore the purple things you spot. I don't do my dailies anywhere near as often as I used to. To be fair, once you hit rank 60, you kind of lose most of the reason. The amount of primos you get for doing them, like, aren't that worth it. I've got 166 intertwined fates to spare. If you're wondering why it's dropped a lot since the last stream, you can thank the double build banner of Eula and Hu Tao for that. Not you, Yelan and Hu Tao, sorry. Eula's never getting a fucking rerun. It's like she's never getting another fucking banner. I just realized there's a new voice line. Is it someone... Oh, Mika. Hence one's bits, expedition, knows bits improving significantly, grandmaster is going to make sure nobody even gets their training. Mika's unaware of his own improvement. He must be one of his blind spots. Perhaps he's just humble. Either way, things like that don't escape me. I know my team. It's so weird that, like, Mika is in this update, and he's so perfectly compatible with Eula, and Eula's banner's not rerunning. Like, everyone assumed Eula's banner was going to rerun because of how, like, perfectly suited for Eula he's built. He's literally a 4-star support unit, almost specifically for Eula, and Eula's not rerolling. And it's like, it's been nearly half the game's lifespan since Eula... I think it's been over half the game's lifespan now, since Eula last reran. Where are we going? Oh, we're going up, not down. Actually, let me just walk back to the tower and glide over. Oh, sorry, the statue. We also got Dehya, which I did roll for Dehya despite how she is, but I was always going to. I'd long since decided I was going to roll for Dehya because she's my wife. It's just, yeah, I am in the agreement with the majority. It's not even a meta thing. For, like, a standard player who just wants to use the team that they like kind of deal, Dehya just can't do anything decent. Like, there's so much of her kit that works backwards against her, and her damage numbers are pathetic. And it's a real shame. Like, it's not that she's, it's not even like on a meta sense, it's like, she's not the best ever and all that shit. It's that she's just bad casually. What spotted me? Oh, whatever. And so she's just not worth it, and I just think that's a real shame. The last character to really be that bad was honestly Zhongli. And Zhongli, I would even argue, wasn't as bad as this, because Zhongli was still like a god-tier shield even back then. It's just you got buffed in all the other areas. Dehya is just bad in general, especially her burst, which is the biggest shame, because her burst is so cool to see, but absolutely everything under the sun can interrupt it. Listen, I don't use meta teams. Like, I mean, I know like you could get that impression looking at my team, but genuinely, my team is literally just built of the characters I thought looked cool, or fitted my style, or things like that. Like, I am literally like fashion police with Genshin. Like, I just get who I think looks cool.
What about it? It looks pretty normal to Paimon. Was it like this hundreds of years ago too?
Yes. The forest has barely changed from how I remember it. There is very little human activity here after all.
Sure.
Let's search the area and see what we can find.
Alright.
Is this a field?
Yeah, maybe instead of just strolling into someone's like personal farm, we should go check.
It looks like it's been abandoned for a long time. You could be
Oh, no,
forgiven
maybe the
for
house is
thinking
abandoned.
Nothing was ever grown here. Or wait, maybe nothing ever was grown here. It's an extinguished bonfire. Forest rangers, perhaps?
Oh, is Cody around?
Looks like it's been ages since it was last lit.
Okay,
And
never
clearly
mind.
they put it out carefully to prevent a forest fire, too. That's responsible.
Nothing else stands out in this area. All that's left is that building. Come on.
Wait! We're barging in? What if someone's home?
Unlikely.
Yeah, there's just...
There are no signs of life in this area. We should be able to enter without incident.
If you say so. Well, you lead the way then, Dane.
It's like, hello? There's a door closed. Like, hello? Hello? Anyone home? Hello?
Huh. So there really isn't anyone home. This bed looks pretty ordinary.
Mary.
Huh. There's nothing underneath it either.
You know what, actually, because the reason why I've been sitting around this, because I had a strange message in chat, and I don't understand it, and so I will instead question it. Person called Peter Parker in chat. Hang on, let me unhide you. Let me give you a chance. Because I thought it was suspicious. But I'm at least prepared to give it a chance. If you explain to me what that means, and if it's not... Because it's just such a strange message. Be like, hey, give a shout out. Say this specific message that you're not going to understand what it translates to. If you explain what that means, then sure, I might be on board. But when it first read it, I was like, that just reads as like... I don't know, that just read suspicious. But yeah, I'll unban. I won't just immediately dive on that one. There's been a couple instances in the past where people have come in and they're like, definitely bots. And they say messages similar to that, which is why I'm like, I'm a lot more on the fence and a lot more defensive when I see things like that. I'm a lot quicker to just assume something's dodged. But yeah, I will take that off from you. Sorry, I just... Forgive my hesitancies. There's been enough incidences over my time streaming that if I see odd messages like that, I just assume they're odd. You know? If you explain what that means, sure, I'll be game. Assuming it's something nice.
What sort of person would want to live here? It's so dark and damp. Can't be all that comfortable.
Oh, it just means what it says? Is it something... So just a place in India? Oh, okay. Is it just because we're in Sumeru and it's got slight Indian themes? Like, I don't get why. Or is it just like in general you wanted the shout out? Because I mean, yeah, sure, sure, this place in India, which I'm not about to butcher the name for. Was it? Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to begin pronouncing that. Hang on. And now I'm curious. Detour. Detour, guys. I'm curious. I gotta look it up. Gakshuip is a town in the South 24 Parganas district of the Indian state of West Bengal. It is situated on the eastern banks of the Hooghly River. It is the headquarters of the Karbdikt subdivision. Interesting. Well, I learned something new today. Oh god, it's very hot over there today. I just scrolled down and saw the weather. Sure, they can get a shout out. All right, back to our regularly scheduled Genshin. And if you're just joining us, I'm like, what's he on about? It's just a name brought up in chat, so I got curious.
Why don't we open it? And by we, Paimon means you. Paimon's just scared that whatever's inside might bite her fingertips off.
Wow. What in the world is going through your head? You sure are going places with your paranoia.
Huh? This is a mirror.
A broken mirror.
It's broken too.
Yeah, alright, I just pointed that out.
A makeup box?
It's just a regular mirror. Oh, well, I actually like the effects on the reflection. To make it, believably broken.
That's kinda disappointing. Paimon was hoping we'd uncover some super big secret. Especially after Dehya
The thing with Dehya
up.
is that, like... Because, I'm not a meta player. I just use the team I like. I just use the characters I think are cool and whatnot. The thing with Dehya is that her burst is too easy to interrupt for anything. You jump, it's gone. You go on a slight incline, it's gone. You, like, change character, you can't get it back. Like I said, it's so easy to just completely interrupt. And it's not like you can stop it and then continuing it on. The moment it's interrupted, you've lost the burst. If you get interrupted by a heavy enemy attack, it's gone. And, like, yeah, her damage stats aren't the best either, but there are other characters who don't have high damage that are insanely good for the Abyss. Shen-He is a perfect example of that. Like, Shen-He is a phenomenal character, even if, like, you can get great damage out of her, but you don't use her for the damage, you use her for her supportive skills. It's just Dehya's supportive skills aren't the best because of how her stats are. Her skill is very reliant on being supportive, but all the stats surrounding that, whether that be her defense or her health and whatnot, don't back it up, sort of thing. Like, everything she's got, if they fine-tuned her burst to make it less interruptible, and just, like, they don't even have to boost her attacks, just boost some of her stats to make her skill more prominent, Dehya would be fine. That's the situation she's in. Like, she needs a little more and she's fine. But because she doesn't, she feels a little more lackluster. And I don't know whether that was accidental or deliberate. And the reason why I make that point is because Dehya's on the standard banner. And all the standard 5 stars, although they're decent and do their job, unless you're Mona, in which case you can kind of break the game in two if you use it right, they're standard, and so they always feel lesser than, like, the timed banners. And I don't know if it was deliberate that Dehya feels a little more underwhelming because she's on the standard banner. But if that's the case, that's a really bad reason. You know? That's a really bad reason to nerf her to the ground like this. And I hope she gets some kind of rework or buffing, but directly the only character to ever get a buff was Zhongli. There's been other characters that have indirectly got a buff, like most Electro characters got a buff when Dendro was introduced, just because of how Dendro's reactions work. Like, Cushing genuinely became extremely powerful if you have good Dendro application. But it's just like, as is, it's like, Dehya looks cool, her kit looks cool in motion, but it's not practical. And so if you do want to take her into the Abyss, you have to basically find a way to shoehorn her into specific conditions. So then she doesn't get interrupted, or if she gets interrupted, doesn't get interrupted as often, so she can do what she needs to do. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like that, and that's when it starts becoming as fun for people. Like, maybe, like, if you love the character and you really want to make her work, you absolutely can. People that are saying that she's entirely unusable, it's like, no character in this game is entirely unusable. You know, like, there is always ways, it's just some are harder than others to get to work, and unfortunately Dehya's on the harder end of the spectrum. Much harder end of the spectrum, but you know what I mean.
Hey, look! It's a bull! Guess whoever used to live here liked to cook, huh?
Can't you smell it? There's a heavy scent of medicinal herbs in here.
Oh, so they were a brewery.
Oh, so it's a medicine bull? Seems you're right. You've got a good nose on you, Dane. Doesn't look like there's anything else worth our attention here. You sure we're in the right place, Dane?
My memories are quite foggy, but my subconscious and instincts both assert that something once happened here. But we'll exhaust ourselves if we search aimlessly.
I'm still curious what Dane will play like in, like, version 8 point whatever, when he eventually becomes playable. Because, like, he doesn't have a vision, and he's from Carnria, and I'm like, will they make an 8th element and be like the Abyss element, like, for characters like Dane, or will Dane be like a true neutral? Or, you know what I mean, like, how will he work? Will they give him a vision in the plot just so they can, like argue it away later on? I mean, he's got some blue to him, so maybe they could give him a Hydro one, but he's also from Carnria, so I don't even think he'd appreciate it.
Noises? Is it?
And I don't think the gods would give him a vision because he's a pure-blood Carnria, and the gods, you know, destroyed Carnria for a reason.
Just some minor adversaries.
Oh, it's just some slimes.
Wow, Dane's ears are sharp, just like his nose. He's in surprisingly good shape for a 500-year-old. Although for someone who's as full of surprises as Jane, it's hardly a big deal. Anyway,
So you can see from my team, I usually just use the characters I like. Well, I don't worry about meta, so like when I'm saying like, if you want to get Dehya to work, absolutely still try to sort of thing. That's just working for me. You know, Raiden Shogun came out and was considered underwhelming. I still keep her around because I like her character.
There must be something nearby.
I'm aware that like Yelan, Eula, and Hu Tao also being on my team's a bit of a powerhouse, but that's just because I like the cheeky prankster characters. I like the tough girls with a strong history, and I really thought the spy was cool. Like, it's literally as simple as that. I'm like, man, this character's cool in the team. It's the same reason I rolled for Shenhe. It's the same reason I rolled for Yemiko. It's the same reason I rolled for Dehya. If the character's cool, you can sell me on how cool they are, and that's it. The only character I've straight up been disappointed in, honestly, is Miko. In terms of, like, once I've got them. Miko, like, I don't think I've ever used her in the Abyss. I got her, I leveled up to 90, I got her the equipment set I wanted for her, took her with me on one round the Abyss, and I was just like, she's just not working the way I want her to, or, like, doing the things I hope she does, so eventually I just kind of discarded. Well, Shenhe, I still very regularly use in the Abyss. She's genuinely like my gold standard. My Abyss teams, if you're curious, I always have, like, for the double teams, like, I have one team be Eula, Raiden, Shenhe, and Noelle for healing. And then I have the other team be Yelan, Hu Tao, Ningguang, and Chi-Chi for healing. And I tend to do pretty well. I don't always get the 36 stars, but I'm never that fussed about getting the 36 stars. Oh yes, Genshin, my favourite be the waifu simulator. Yeah, hello one man, hope you're well. We were talking about the new plot story stuff, and talking about my teams and whatnot, so I always end up getting sidetracked.
A ley line anomaly, perhaps. But it seems to be more than that. Okay. I'll go slightly.
I mean, we were
further
talking
out to
about how
investigate
unfortunately
issues with the
underwhelming
nearby
Dehya
ley
ended up
lines.
being when she came out.
I might be a while. You should wait
Much
for me
better,
here.
coughing a lot less. Good, glad to hear it.
what? You're going alone? You better not be trying to keep some secret from us.
Paimon, I know Dane's not the most trustworthy fellow in how he acts, but Dane's also the same person that, when we tried to find out information about her brother, actually got us information. The guy who, like, when we hired to do work for us, barely charged us at all. The guy who, when we trusted to, like, keep something secure, actually kept it secure. You know, Dane hasn't let us down yet, you know?
Your suspicions are as banal as they are unwarranted. I merely
Look, I
think
know
that
he
this
talks weird,
house
acts
should
weird,
remain
and
the
dresses
focus
weird,
of
but he
our
doesn't mean he is
investigation.
weird. He's proven,
And
like,
as
thrice
such,
over, he's kind of
someone ought to
trustworthy.
stay here and keep an eye on it. Not to mention that if even forest rangers are capable of investigating ley lines, I will be more than able to handle it alone.
Fair enough. Guess we'll just camp out here then. Good thing there's a fireplace over there. Let's make ourselves something to eat.
And like Mew, please.
Honestly,
Yeah, we've been
man,
spoiled.
we
We're
can't
into
have
Caligula
meal.
effects. We've been spoiled. Because Mew is so charming. And it's entirely because Mew is basically just like a naive child. In terms of her personality. Like, that's the best way to put her. Those edgy characters. Yeah, Yuri Lowenfall really, like, snagged it. It's like, yeah, you're going to play the most mysterious character, who's also going to narrate every single character introduction in the game. Or, like, barring, like, one or two. So Yuri Lowenfall is, like, one of the most consistent paychecks in Genshin, because every single trailer released has him doing a couple voice lines. So it makes it a hidden gem. Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm really excited to see what Caligula 2 does with the formula. We need to learn more about Wicked, because I'm really curious about that character. But I'm also aware we're getting close to the end of the game, so Wicked might just be like penultimate villain, if that makes sense. Like the penultimate villain syndrome, where like because they're second to last from like the main piece or whatever, they just don't get as much time. Or I mean, the fact that Shadow Knife seemingly doesn't have a social link full stop is kind of proof alone. Like I think once we do Wicked's arc, we'll go straight into Thorns and then start wrapping up the game.
Your cooking is as good as ever. Even if there was no other reason, the food alone would be enough for Paimon to stick with you.
Well, freeloading comes more naturally to you than most.
Changing the subject.
She's like, alright, ignoring that insult.
He said that there might be an issue with the nearby ley lines. How bad do you think it could be?
But it was also making me curious about Furyu's other works. Like, I want to try out, was it like Crystar or Crystal Star or Crystar, something like that, at some point. I know that's an action RPG, so I know one man it probably won't be for you, for being honest, but I'll still give it a go and just see what it's like. And I think it's getting a sequel called something like Crystar, yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of people get excited for Crystar, and I'm like, oh, okay, so either Crystar did pretty well and people liked it, or Crystar is this sequel is doing so much more that people are really curious about it. Insufferable characters. Yeah, I've seen the trailer, and it does look kind of weird, but I still want to give it a try at some point. It does look hella fucking weird at points, but I'm still prepared to, at least try it out. Like Caligula Effect has made me turn my head to Furyu just enough.
We came together, but
that I'm curious to some of their other works. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like them all, but I'm still prepared to give it a shot.
We really have spent lots and lots of time together.
But my first priorities after Caligula Effect is eventually getting to its sequel. So not enough swords, you understand once you play it. Oh, fair enough.
So, don't take this the wrong way or anything, but,
oh, jeez, Paimon. I'm sorry for all the insults.
Being around?
She's like doubting herself. In my day, every day, Paimon. Not really. You're better than nothing, I guess. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Nah. Then joked with my friends and I. Oh, I can't just be mean to her face. I don't have it in my heart to do that.
Oh, you stop it. Now you're embarrassing, Paimon.
Because she crushed us.
So, next question. Don't know if it's okay to ask.
Oh, this is why she asked. She wants the comparison.
What was it like traveling with your brother? The stars?
We'd gaze at the stars just like this, and we'd point to the planets we wanted to visit.
Wow.
We travelled through the universe, always by each other's side. We saw manners of hope and despair. Fucking I could never escape Danganronpa! I can never escape! God fucking... This is the first time you've ever been separated. If nothing else, I just want to know what happened.
Yeah. Paimon understands. Being separated without even knowing the reason why. It's just terrible. But we'll find the truth together. Sure as Paimon's your guide. Just you wait, Heavenly Principal.
They should do a Genshin crossover. It's like, we got another crossover. Remember who did Aloy from, Horizon Zero Dawn? We did a crossover with that? Yeah, we got another one coming. And it's like, oh boy, what's it going to be? And you just hear someone go, oh, hello there. And everyone goes, nah, it's Nagito. Someone said something about hope and despair. Waving his hand as he comes in. I say that, but I don't even think Nagito's voice actor can do Nagito's voice anymore. I've said it before, but like anytime someone brings it up in conventions, he just kind of does Makoto's voice, but eviler now. Like, he can't seemingly do that Nagito voice the way he used to anymore. Which is fair enough, it's been a decade. Everyone gets older, but like, every time he brings it up, or anyone brings it up and asks him to do a voice or something, it never sounds like Nagito properly anymore. It just sounds like Makoto, but eviler. Just you wait, Heavenly Principles.
You know what? We've talked too long about this sad stuff.
Even you struggle with it, yeah.
Happy instead, because if you're sad, Paimon will be too.
Oh, thank you, Paimon.
All right. It's getting dark, so why don't you rest? Paimon will take first watch. Don't worry.
Well, so I've said it before. It's similar. It reminds me similarly to Daniel Southworth. Even though Daniel Southworth does a lot better with it in general, but like for a while, every new thing Virgil showed up in, he sounded slightly different than the last time he showed up in something. Because Daniel Southworth genuinely struggled to completely replicate the voice of Virgil he gave him in Devil May Cry 3, specifically. And eventually what Dan did was basically just make a slightly altered, more older voice work for him and make that the standard instead. So although Virgil in DMC3 sounds different to what came after, now it's more that DMC3 is the outlier and the current voice is what's standard instead of it being the other way around. Or actually, to give an on-point example, Paimon. In 1.0, she was nowhere near as squeaky as she is now. Because the actor struggled to consistently do the voice to that specific tone, so the directing allowed them to alter how they handled the voice to make it easier on their throat. What did you do with Paimon here? Well, this is the first Paimon. Not going to bed before me.
Oh, come on! Don't say that! Paimon just wants to look after you for once.
What? Why am I even more suspicious than Oris? Oh, good night then, Paimon.
Nighty night. Go on, chew. Off to sleep.
What is she up to? Memories of your siblings fill your mind as you fall soundly asleep. And it's loading, apparently. Why is it loading so much? What the fuck? What's changing? I'm on PS5. Why did it take that long to load? You see, it was like literally had to do the loading icon in the corner. What did it have to load? I was meant to wake up and just be somewhere else. Dane?
What a deep sleeper. You do know that we need to... Tear stains. You dreamed of your sibling last night, didn't you?
Jesus, Dane, I just woke... You don't just wake a girl up and, first thing in the morning and immediately go, oh, you've been crying. No, come on, let this poor girl have some dignity.
All right. Rest here a bit longer then. I'll head into the forest to investigate.
What's going on? Why are both Dane and Paimon encouraging me to sleep so much? Huh? Why are you going back into the forest? And why... Are we just sleeping on the dirt? Oh, a voice clip from... A very rare voice clip from Lumine. How did I sleep till morning? Why didn't Paimon wake me up to switch shifts? Hang on a moment, where is Paimon anyway? Oh, I vaguely remember Dane coming over. Did Paimon go into the woods with him? Seeing how I hadn't woken up yet? Whatever the case, looks like it's just me for now. It's time to stretch my limbs and have a look around. Don't know, it seems kind of base speech. Cladder. Wait, did a noise just come from inside the house? Paimon, is that you? No reply. I should go inside and check. Star-crossed night. It's if I, was close enough to someone like that and I saw them crying in their sleep, I would comfort them in their sleep a little bit, but I wouldn't just wake them up and go, oh, you're crying. Oh, go back to sleep then. You know?
Halt! What do you think you're doing?
Oh, you startled me.
This place is not whatever you think it is. Nor should you be poking your nose into my business. Begone!
Whoa, just calm down.
Your travel companion.
So yeah, I'm also looking for my companion.
That was keeping watch by your side last night.
You mean you were watching me last night?
Your companion departed for the forest early this morning. That much I saw with my own eyes.
Why does this guy sound so paranoid? Also, why does this voice actor sound like a distant cousin to the man who voices G-Man? I thought so. Still, I don't know if I can trust this person's word yet. You were nearby last night?
What business is that of yours, All you need to know is that I claimed this place first. And what I do here is none of your concern.
I'd also start a Lumine sleep party watch over. Yeah, but just don't, if a girl's napping, let her fucking nap. It was literally Women's Day yesterday. Let the girl nap. The only thing I'd question is that why the fuck did Lumine choose the dirt in the farm to sleep on and not, I don't know, the grass? That would be, a little comfier to sleep on? Why'd you just choose the dirt?
Do I make myself quite clear? Leave.
Well, it's Women's Month, but international... Well, I say Women's Month is Women's History Month. The whole month is supposed to be a celebration of women's history. But Women's Day, where you're supposed to, love and appreciate and do what you can to kind of celebrate everything surrounding women, was yesterday. Yesterday was International Women's Day. That's how it works. Women's Day is the day for women. Women's Month is History Month. One's about the history, the day's about the people. That's the easiest way to think about it. So it is still Women's Month, because it's literally I just call it Women's Month, but it's technically Women's History Month. In the same way we have Black History Month. If that makes any better sense. Whilst Women's Day is more for the people. That's when, like, the people in your life. History Month and MLK Day. Yeah, kinda. That's probably the best comparison I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's someone smarter than me that would probably say, oh, actually, X, Y, and Z, but that's probably the easiest way to look at it. Like, the month is for the history, the day is for the people. So that's the way I always think about it. There's something strange about this person. I need to find out what he's hiding.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't think I'll have much luck trying to find a companion in the woods. I think I'm better off waiting here for them to come back.
If you must.
So
Suit
just
yourself.
yeah. It's, you know, it's not that the voice, I just realized, it's not that the voice is making me think it's like distant G-Man, it's the way he's talking. Yeah. It's the way he's talking that reminds me of G-Man from Half-Life. The little, ah, yes, that kind of shit is giving me the G-Man vibes. Like, he doesn't know how to speak English, and he's like, or doesn't know how to speak full stop, and yet he's forcing every word nervously as he speaks. The difference is, this guy just sounds really, like, creepy. Whilst G-Man, it genuinely sounds like speaking any earthly language is foreign to him. And so everything sounds off when he speaks.
I've been observing you.
That line,
You
that's kind of the G-Man mannerism of talking.
Someone from the academia.
With a little as he talks kind of thing. That's why it's throwing me off. Speaking of Half-Life, hey, Valve, I know that, like, Steam gets you billions every year, but can you throw us a bone and make, like, a Half-Life collection on modern consoles? That'd be nice. I've been, like, itching to go through some Half-Life games again, and I don't want to, like, fire up my 360 to play the Orange Box Half-Life games, or, you know, hunt down a PS2 copy. I want to try out the PS2 version of Half-Life 1 at some point, because it's very different compared to the original PC build, while still being Half-Life. And I just want to kind of give them a go, and just kind of try out that version. But still, it would be nice to have, like, the Half-Life saga on modern platforms. I know Half-Life Alyx would be a little bit more interesting, to put it mildly, to get to work, because it's entirely built for not only VR, but Valve's VR. So, they could probably get it to work on PSVR 2, but nothing else. Because it's too focused in, if that makes sense. I know you can get it to work on other VR headsets, but it's just not as stable or not as technical in terms of what you can do with it compared to the Valve's set, and presumably PSVR 2, if it ever happens.
Still, I'm warning you, no funny business. Promise me that, and you can do as you please.
Well, I'm no villain, but nor will I pretend to be a saint.
Okay, fine. Whatever. Just move aside. I'm heading in.
I was out all night, I'm cold.
Oh, go on then. Have it your way. I knew I wasn't going to be able to hide this anyway. Just come in. But no overreacting to anything you see in here, okay? You understand me?
Thanks, I've been around. Takes a lot to faze me.
Come on then.
If anything, the more daunting thing is following this dude into this room when he's clearly not of stable mind. I mean, his name is literally Intimidating Man. Well, his title in the subtitles is Intimidating Man. Why'd you keep a hated child at home?
Mind your own business. And don't worry, he isn't aggressive.
No worries.
How could he be? He was too young for anything like that. So don't you lay a finger on him. Just find yourself a corner to rest if you're tired or cold.
You're from Conria, aren't you?
Huh? You know Conria? Who are you?
Well, your
Exactly.
eyes gave it away,
And
but
how do you know I'm from Conria?
I've met others from Conria. I mean, yeah, the clothes also a little bit, but no, the eyes give it away.
Do you worship a god, traveler?
That's a very terrifying question. I follow no god, in fact I count some of them as my foes. I follow no god, though I count some of them as my friends. Yeah, Venti we're friends with, Zhongli we're friends with, Raiden we're friends with, Nihida we're literally like Nihida's like first guard. But then oppositely, Snezhnaya's Archon is absolutely out for our head. The unknown god separated us from our brother, and so is a foe. He's Khaenri'ahn, so he hates the gods, because the gods destroyed his home, so I should really say the former.
Sounds like you've had an eventful life.
Okay. Can you, like, stop the random, like, nervous giggling?
My
It's
name
really
is
creepy.
Ida, and you are correct. I was once Khaenri'ahn. I apologize for my earlier hostility, but you must understand, as far as I'm concerned, humans who do not worship the Seven are nigh extinct.
Now he's more confident sounding. He sounds even more like G-Man. I think the voice actor literally just went, you know what, I think the voice actor liked Half-Life, and I think he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do my G-Man impression.
And all who place faith in the gods are my enemies.
Spoken like a true Khaenri'ahn.
That may be. But the fact is that chances to talk to people like yourself have been few and far between since the cataclysm.
Because it sounds like his voice is going up and down like a wave all the time he speaks, whilst there's like a nervousness in every word. Like, listen to his tone as he talks. Like imagine like a bar going up and down, and that's how he sounds.
This wretched curse of immortality. Who knows how long I must continue to suffer like this?
I take it that's how you survived for so long.
The curse. It was a little gift given to the people of Khaenri'ah by those vile gods. We lost our home, our loved ones, everything. The agony of the cataclysm itself was already too much to bear, but then came the curse, robbing us any chance of release. All we can do is watch helplessly as our souls erode and our bodies decay.
You know, if I was Lumine, I'd be like, you know what? I think I'm a bit warmed up now. I'm gonna go. So Ida is just like Dane, someone who bears the curse of immortality. Why did some people turn into Hilichurls while you were afflicted by this curse instead?
Because, although Khaenri'ah began with a single bloodline, it was a home to others too.
He's going up again, he's going up the slope of his voice, it's getting slightly higher, and it's going to dip
Any
again.
who forsook their gods and came to Khaenri'ah were welcomed as our fellow citizens.
What were you like, guys in Cold Steel? He's such a wholesome good boy. You know something interesting about Cold Steel I learnt this morning? From like the actual like localization team? Like, one of the directors of the localization team was the one that was in charge of giving the Western name for the title, and was the one that eventually decided on it being called Trails of Cold Steel. And they were talking about how when they first wrote that title, basically everyone criticized them for it, or mocked them for it. And yet, like, less than a game later, when Cold Steel 2 came around, everyone loved the idea of, you know, the series naming and Trails of Cold Steel. And I was like, that's actually really interesting. Like, when it was first, like localized, the title choice went down to this one woman, and, like I said, she was criticized for it. Like, she was told it was too edgy, or sounded too off, or didn't fit what the game was going for, or didn't fit what the original title in Japan was, and all this shit. And I was just like, huh, interesting, because I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Cold Steel, and it's kind of interesting to see that there was a time where people were kind of anti just because of the name choice. It was literally before I started streaming, I was just scrolling through Twitter and I stumbled upon it.
When the cataclysm came, we pure-blood Khaenri'ahns were
Obviously, I
declared
can't speak on it because I've never played the Cold Steel
greater
games to know like the
sinners.
themes, the story, the characters, etc.,
Upon us, the
etc.
gods placed the curse of immortality. But Those whose ancestry belonged to the domains of other gods were punished with the curse of the wilderness as they fled, turning them into monsters.
So, who is this Hilly Child to you? And don't say Freeman, Mr. G-Man. If he calls him anything even remotely close to Freeman, I'm going to become hyper paranoid this actually is G-Man.
He is Kari Bear, my illegitimate son.
Oh.
How times have changed. I can say that out loud with no consequence now, but it was once a matter of unspeakable shame. I was a noble of Conria. I resented the life that my family had arranged for me. And then, one day, I met a beautiful woman amongst the people. Her roots were in Mondstadt, but that mattered not to me. It was love at first sight. Kari Bear faced great hardship from the very moment of his birth. All due to my selfish desires, and I was never able to be there by his side for any of it.
You know, I'm actually kind of curious how the Japanese dub and the Chinese version of this scene sounds. Like, what does the voice actor for Ida sound like in the other localizations for this game? I'm genuinely really curious about that now, because like I said, the English one clearly taking a couple cues from like G-Man or characters like that. Like, what does the Japanese one sound like in contrast? You know, what does the Chinese one sound in contrast?
After all that, he turned into a hilichurl right before my very eyes. I always owed him much, and now at least I can finally be close to him.
What happened to his mother?
She was
She was probably executed, by the sounds of how you went to talk. She was probably executed for, being involved with a noble and all that shit. And this must have caused you great pain.
It could be worse. I suffer the pain of loss because I once had everything I could wish for. And now that I have lost almost everything, the little that remains I see with new clarity. If nothing else, at least I still have Kari Bear.
What do you plan to do now?
Yes, that reminds me. I only returned here to check on Kari Bear, but I do have other things I wish to do. You may come with me, if you're so inclined.
Can I interact with Kari Bear? I didn't mean to sound on his bed. Ooh. How often are we going to have to open that door? Oh, wait, it closes right behind you, that's why. I was about to say, why often are we going to have to open that? Oh, we're going back to Lumine's bed. She's like there. She was sleeping.
Over here.
A crafting bench? I don't want to play Minecraft. What are you going to use this for?
I'm sure you're wondering why I brought Kari Bear here to Sumeru. Well, it's because he needs a medicine that can only be made here. One which will help him to recover his clarity of mind.
Recover his clarity of mind? When we were in the chasm, Dane said that the curse could not be undone. Is recovery really possible?
I do not hope to break the curse. I am well aware of my powerlessness against the punishment of the gods. But it is said that this medicine is imbued with the power of Sumeru's god of wisdom and can awaken the mind from a state of deep stupor. It has been used in the past to treat cases of mania. I believe that it might just work.
Where did you hear of this?
I read about it in a book. From the Royal Library of Conria. It was banned.
Jesus fucking Christ, this guy's insane.
Medicine requires the power of the seven to work. In my youth, I dislike.
I don't know how Lumine's just keeping up with this. Like, looking at this guy dead straight, engaging with him, when every other word is...
I was leafing through some forbidden text and happened upon it.
You know, there must have been a reason it was banned.
What other choice do I have? What exactly would you have me do, huh?
Alright.
The gods have already punished us. What does one more sin matter now?
Alright, don't get too worked
Never
up.
mind. As long as you understand. I'm sorry. I struggle to take control of my mood sometimes. Perhaps a consequence of having lived too long. As it happens, I am in dire need of some help to make this medicine. My hands don't have the dexterity they once did.
Also, we're the only one learning this. Paimon is God knows where. Dane just kind of waddled off.
Oh, thanks to this curse of immortality. Okay. To start with, take this ingredient.
Okay. I've never seen a mushroom of this kind before.
Also, do you have any of Sumeru's regional specialties on hand?
I like how the game's like, hey, they're in the immediate vicinity if you don't. That's what the game's saying. The game's like, hey, look, there's two literally right there on that vine, and there's a flower over to the left. I've picked some before, yes.
Wonderful. Oh, in that case, we have everything we need. This is the method for making the medicine. You just need to follow the steps.
Yeah, it was saying that there's these here, and there's this here. So if you don't have them, you can get them. I have way too many. Yeah, I have... Actually, I don't have as many of the lotuses as I thought I did. I only have 48, so I had 46 a minute ago. But I have 701 roses. The nameless taboo medicine of the royal court. Is it really wise that I'm the one making this when I'm actually, you know, friends with the gods? Like, I don't want them to hate me. Okay, it doesn't matter who makes it. Alright. The smell of this stings your nose and will not easily fade. According to the records, this medicine requires the power of a god of wisdom to awaken the addled mind. Perhaps it might be able to resist the curse. And what was this strange mushroom? Can mushrooms really grow in a field like this? Oh, okay. The sickness unto near death.
Is it done? Oh, splendid. Let me see.
I don't know why you made, like, you're getting me in on this. You've just made me, like, an associate of your crime.
In all honesty, I do not know what the end product is supposed to look like. The banned book didn't feature any illustrations.
Yeah, funny that.
Well, the moment has finally arrived. Curses.
Excuse me?
No. We need to perform one final step.
I swear to God, if it's like the blood of a virgin or like some voodoo shit like that, I am going to stab this man.
I said before that this medicine relies on the power of the god of wisdom for its restorative effects.
We need to go get Nahida. Which
means we must pay a visit to a statue of the Seven.
Ouch. Yeah, that can't be easy for someone from Conria. Since he needs the god of wisdom's power, should I get Nahida to help? I forget it. Ida hates the gods. It could complicate things. I'll just do it in his way. Also, he's like giving me death glares.
Let's go. Bring the medicine with you.
I'm expecting to get there and like someone else just go, what the hell are you doing? Oh, wow. We're in Super Quest mode. There's like a bunch of features missing. Yeah, you're in special story mode. You can only pause the game properly if you're out of story, because Paimon's not with us. So we can't pause until Paimon rejoins us. Hang on a minute. Yeah, look, we're super restricted. Look at the minimap. There's a bunch of red everywhere. We're super restricted on where we can go. That's why it had to load. That's why the load was so long, because it loaded us into this unique version of the map, this like controlled zone.
Before this thing.
Like, we're basically within, like, a dungeon design in terms of how the game was loading our area.
God of wisdom, look at me. I will utter no prayer, nor will I sing your praises. You and your kind destroyed my home, wrought unfathomable suffering on my compatriots, yet here I stand before you. You cannot mock me more than fate itself already has. God of wisdom, I seek not to disavow myself of the sinful blood that flows through my veins. I wish only to beseech you to have pity upon a young and unfortunate soul, my son, Caribert. He was turned into a monster before he had the chance to witness anything beautiful in this world. This is no fate for a child. If everything the gods have done was in order to have the impious people of Conria bow their heads, then I bow to you now. I have given up all I ever stood for. All I ask is for a tiny miracle. For Caribert to see this world once more. Please, God. I beg of you.
I may not know the whole truth behind the Cataclysm, but the people of Carnria have truly suffered. Why would Carnria and the Seven not coexist in peace?
I have made quite enough of a fool of myself for one day. Let's go.
Things will get better. Right, back to the farm. Maybe Dane and or Paimon will actually show up at some point soon.
Caribert?
Like, Dane disappearing, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. That guy disappears all the time. Paimon disappearing, I'm like, where the hell did she go? Hilichurl seems almost lifeless. Its reactions to everything are incredibly weak.
We've prepared the medicine. We might as well try it.
With your help, Ida feeds the newly made medicine to the Hilichurl.
Caribert, it's me. It's your father. Caribert.
Anything?
Caribert, please say something. I'm sorry I couldn't be at your side when you were born. And that I failed to reach you and Mama in time when you both were suffering. But I'm here now. Papa's been by your side all these years.
Oh god, this is going to get really tragic,
I've never
isn't
left
it?
you,
Well, more
not
tragic than it
once.
already is.
Are you still angry with me, Caribert? I know you're awake now. Do you not want to talk to me? I'm so sorry, Caribert. Forgive me. Please, say something, anything.
Should I wait outside?
Please. Please.
Ida, stop.
Oh, gods above! What more do you want from me? You took everything from here, and I still bowed to you. I'd give you my very life if only you cared to take it. But you won't even let me die. I knew it. I should never have trusted anything that had to do with the gods. I was just deluding myself.
To be fair, you shouted at a statue.
The gods of this world have never stood with humanity, not even for a moment.
There may be other reasons it didn't work.
Other reasons? What do you mean?
Who knows? Perhaps the dosage was low, or maybe it takes a full course of treatment.
Huh. You really think so?
You have to exhaust all options.
Give up.
And else you're going to give up.
Never. And yes, you're right. I cannot let myself wallow in despair.
Did someone say despair? Shut it, Nagito.
Even if I must stay here with him for 50 years, 100? What difference does it make? I do not lack for time.
That's the spirit. To have infinite time yet no hope can only be called torture.
Let's go. We'll make another dose. The most crucial ingredient in this medicine is the unusual mushroom, which makes things complicated, but not impossible.
Where did you get these mushrooms from anyway? You're making me stumble on my words. Jesus.
I grow them in that field.
Wait, in the field like a crop?
The details don't matter, right? Curb your curiosity and just do as I instruct. If you truly wish to help me, that is how you can do it.
Fine.
There is a waterfall near the statue I prayed at. I need you to collect some water from there around 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
I'll be here watching Kari Bear. Once you're back, I will make some fertilizer for the mushrooms.
Got it.
Good. Then please head over when the time comes.
Oh wow, TikTok, before you know it's 2 in the afternoon. Is it actually? Hang on. Oh no, wait, we're in the dungeon, so we can't make that decision ourselves. We can't alter time ourselves, we can't pause, because we're technically in dungeon mode. That's why it did it for us.
Take it easy.
Can I help you guys?
The ecological issues in this area require further observation and analysis.
You scholars and your big words. You know what would really impress me? Fixing the humidity in this forest. My whole family's having a hard time with this climate. Seriously, all my old injuries are acting up.
Oh, this isn't like normal. This is like part of the specialized dungeon. So it's like, why are these people here? So they would have had to be re-rendered in for this load zone, is what I mean. Hey, we're back. Ida.
Oh, you're back. Kara Bear's condition is stable.
Good.
By which I mean he still isn't responding.
Well, not so good.
Anyway, give me the water.
What if I say no? No, I'm kidding. Ida carefully waters his field.
I need you to stand guard here for a while. Whatever you do, don't let any forest rangers approach the house. Understand?
Of course.
Ah, good. I'll be back soon. The fertilizer won't take but a moment to make.
The clock turns. Monsters? There's so many of them. It's like they're coming for this field. So watering the field tomorrow attract monsters? Better fend them off.
Gotcha. Busted. Shut up. Freeze to the core. Rack and ruin.
What happened? Was it monsters? Oh, thank goodness you were here. I couldn't have taken them on all by myself. I'd have to hide and wait until they were gone.
Oh, so you're not much of a fighter then. Got it.
Oh, yes. I've got the fertilizer. The effects can take some time to kick in, so let's get on with it.
Let's get on with it. You spread fertilizer evenly. Before long, the elemental energy starts to take effect.
Next, we pick the mushrooms and repeat the same steps as before to make another dose. I trust you still remember the method.
Yep. It's a good thing I've got some notices. Ida, the medicine's ready.
Oh, sorry. I just, after resting in this field for a while, my thoughts began to wander. I have been so very wary for many years. If only I could fall asleep here in this field and never wake up again.
But though the curse denies you even this, you still have Kaibat.
I do indeed. That's why it was just a fleeting thought. Thank you for your help once again. And now, for the final step. Back to the Statue of the Seven.
Oh god. You're gonna, like, cuss out the gods again. Where the fuck is Dane and Paimon? They've been gone for at least a whole day. Like, it's the evening again. So Dane disappearing makes sense. Paimon's the confusing one. This is like casually play as one of the Archons.
Let's begin.
Oh?
Wait a moment. Hey, what was that? Cory Bear!
What?
Oh no, he must have left while we were too busy preparing the medicine to notice. Come on, we have to catch up with him.
Is it actually him, though, or is it just another Hilichurl? I mean, not to discriminate, but it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the Hilichurls. Gonna level with you, yes? I mean, I'll trust, you know, parental instincts.
That's not Cory Bear.
See, what did I just say? So there's no silk scarf around his arm.
Right. Cory Bear's scarf was a gift I once gave to his mother. I use it now as a marker of sorts. My eyes must be going. How could I not recognize my own son? This decrepit body of mine.
Still, there's something strange about it.
Yes. It doesn't seem interested in us in the least. It seems intent on walking in that direction. Where could it be going?
No idea. Let's go have a look.
Yes. The more we know about Hilichurls, the better.
Oh, jeez, what is it waddling towards? What is this shadow void?
Did it go in here? Well, let's head in.
And the fact it didn't do the usual dungeon check, so he literally just gone from one part of a dungeon to the other as far as the game's concerned.
What a ghastly place. Has it always existed? I swear I've never noticed it before.
Is this chasm music? Are we back in the chasm? What is Hilichurls doing?
Huh. It looks like they're...
it is chasm.
Worshipping. Sometimes walking, sometimes
the curse. So we are still kind of close to the chasm, so it makes sense.
Earnest. I've never seen anything like this in all my
Alright,
life.
that means it's just about to get tragic and depressing
in
as
the
hell
world
again.
does this
Because the
place
Hilichurls will go to the
conceivably-
chasm to commit mass suicide, and if these guys are praying to it and we're near the chasm, then these people are involved with that.
Oh, there's
Well, it's not mass
only one way
suicide,
to
it's mass
find out.
degradation. They stop feeding themselves and allow themselves to suffer in silence, whilst the old guards protect their bodies until they're fully gone. No, they don't feed them sort of thing or keep them alive. They just make sure no monsters comes and kills them before their time passes naturally. The air here in this creepy scene, it's eerily familiar. Yeah, we're absolutely in some extension of the chasm, so we're getting closer to the abyss. Because that's why they go into the chasm, because it goes extremely deep underground. Which gets them closer to the abyss. Which is closer to what once was part of, or tied to, Khaenri'ah. Oh! That's what you want to do. It's like, hey, look, if you need to change your party because you didn't realize you're going to end up in a dungeon, now is your chance. So we are about to have some fighting ahead of us. This is why I wanted to stream the Archon quest, though. Wow, you can fight these things? Why would you want to? Oh, they picked a fight with me. Okay. I'm sorry.
Quietly now. Busted.
They picked a fight with me. Got the music.
Is this a teleportation device? What energy is powering it?
You know what that battle theme reminded me of? Like a final dungeon area of a Kingdom Hearts game. Also, we got a rare Emmy voice line. A rare Lumine voice line. Continue exploring.
Illusion shattered. Beg for mercy. Crush.
Looking around for secrets. I don't think there's anything over there either. Oh, this is above where we just were. Yeah, there's the gates. We came in. So that portal took us straight up. Got it. Ooh. Jesus Christ, what Dark Souls bullshit have I walked into? It's absolutely chasm / near the abyss. I think that's more accurate to say. It's probably not necessarily chasm per se, it's just that we're closer to the abyss. Again.
Quietly now. Beg for mercy.
Do I really want to pick this thing up? Let me take it over there, okay. I need to figure. Oh, I need to figure out how to get there.
More speed.
Ow! Hey, I took damage!
How did I get on the ceiling? Did the room turn upside down, or gravity itself?
Ooh, why does Lumine sound so, like, almost exhausted? When in fact, she's also entirely on her own. It's so refreshing to hear Lumine talk. And all it took was not having Paimon with us. Oh, and that opens that. And then we can go get it on the other side.
More speed.
And I bet once we put them in place, that will open, so we have to flip the room again. Would it take us to the other side or flip the room again?
Time to scout.
And then, yeah, we take that to the bottom to open it. Got it.
It seems like I need to find a place to insert the rune.
So it's not just gonna be a trapdoor and just drop me in, will it? It kind of is, but the cutscene thankfully doesn't make us just drop. A lamenter at fate's end. Jeez, that's not ominous. Uh-oh. Hey, Abyss. You're the Herald.
Fate has not granted you the right to enter this place.
An Abyss Herald? No. Isn't it like someone from the Abyss Order?
Do you insist on an audience? Very well. Then I grant you the trial of destiny.
Does that mean we're gonna have to fight? Yes. The Herald Frostfall. An Abyss monster uses dark power to command the ice and frost in battle. Some of its attacks decrease the stamina of characters while dealing damage against them.
There is no escape.
So they're gonna be resistant to ice, I assume.
Quietly now.
Are you gonna have two phases like all the other Abysses? The Fortune Lecter, I just realised.
I see the minion.
Take it easy.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, it does have two phases. Alright, fire mode. I didn't realise it was a new variant because, you know, the ice and water variants look so similar in colour, and I haven't seen an Abyss Lecter in forever.
Illusion shattered.
I had a feeling. I was like, that looks like a charge up group, right? I can't wait for like 10 of these to show up in the Spiral Abyss later on. Ow!
Busted. Shine down. Crush.
Oh. I was like, yeah, that is like a multi-staged attack of fear.
Who was that? He was...
I've seen similar characters before.
He was a perfect being. I'm in awe.
Huh?
He had the most wondrous aura, a perilous yet beautiful power.
Oh, right, because he's someone from the
Truly
Abyss, and the
mesmerizing.
Abyss used to be Karnians, so you just met like a Karnian general.
And yet, you were able to defeat him. Oh, your strength is greater than I had imagined.
You have unconventional tastes. No, I'll be nice. I have a combat
Let's continue
experience.
on. I find myself growing more curious by the second and more excited.
So the reason I'm not sprinting is because I'm kind of just enjoying the atmosphere as we go. This place is cool. I'm just kind of vibing as we go, just soaking it all in. But I do stand by my previous comment that this place gives me like huge like Dark Souls vibes. I'll do a bit of healing while I wait for this door to open. Ooh. What is this, like a shadow crystal? Like the anti-crystals from Final Fantasy IV?
We've made it to the end.
What is that thing? Wrapped in chains, hanging in midair, emanating a sinister aura. There's no mistaking it. It looks like the defiled statue. From 1.4? God, that's a memory to dig up. So it does have something to do with the Abyss Order. And these worshipping Hitherchilds remind me a little too much of the Grand Thief. Yeah. From 1. That's also from 1.4. Wow, that is Ida, this place is bad news. We gotta go. Yeah, it's going to consume his mind. Yeah. Ida!
Oh, dear creature. Why do you bow down? For fear of the unknown? Or for power?
That's a deep cut. If you've been following along, that's a long time ago. 1.4 was the spring of 2021. So it's been a while to have to think about it. It's been nearly 2 years. Whose voice is that? It's coming from right inside my head. Can't Ida hear it?
Oh, dear creature. Why do you bow down? For I am no god. I am but a sinner.
A sinner?
You are like a flower, born in sin, yet pure, spotless. I know your fate well. You need no longer hold back your resentment, nor accept the countless lies. Go forth, become a transcendent one. Rise beyond the fate bestowed upon you. And I shall shed a tear at the end of time, as I gaze back upon your life.
Who in the world are you? And what do these words mean? The voice is gone. Ida?
What just happened? When I saw that thing, my heart was instantly at peace. I was overcome by a sense of awe or joy, perhaps.
Are you alright now?
I am. I feel good. In fact, I feel better than I did before I came in here. How peculiar.
Something's not right about this place. We need to get out of here.
Oh, is that so? All right. As you wish.
You leave the ominous cave and return to Ida's house. And it's loading again. I wonder if it's loading the map.
Cory Bear! Oh, thank goodness! He's still okay.
That means you need to go back to the statue?
I have a strange feeling that what just happened was meant to be.
I guess I can see that.
For this to happen, right at the moment when I was dreading worshipping at a statue of the Seven, it's as if fate was calling to me. You say that I bowed before that thing, so perhaps it might be just as effective.
Sounds like a ridiculous idea.
I have to try. No matter what, you said it yourself. I have to exhaust all options.
Another dose of medicine is administered to the Hilichurl.
Cory Bear?
Papa?
Cory Bear? Oh, my goodness, it worked! It's a miracle! Oh, Cory Bear, my dear son!
Can't believe it.
You see, it worked! Cory Bear can speak again!
Where's Mama?
Mama is... Cory Bear, look at me. Do you know who I am?
Of course. Your Papa.
Yes! Salvation!
This kid's gonna be like, what?
Yes,
What's wrong with you?
This is what this feeling is. How do you feel, Cory Bear? Are you fully awake now?
Yes. It feels like I just woke up from a long, long sleep. I dreamed that I was hiding in a little room. I didn't dare go out the whole time, and I didn't want to either. Wait.
There's a lot to process.
My body! What happened to me? Is this me? Papa? What's happened to me?
Don't panic, son. It's just... While you were sleeping, we went into a fairy tale world. There's no more Conria here. No more home. But... Do you know what that means? No more red sky. No more end of the world.
It's one way of putting
In this
it all.
world, you have to be a little monster, but you get to stay with Papa forever.
Am I dead?
No, of course not. Look, Cory Bear, you still have Mama's scarf on your arm. That means she's watching over you, protecting you. So how could you be dead?
Really?
Yes, really. You've only just woken up, and this must all be very confusing for you. Just rest here.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I've said it before. They let the voice actors give all their dialogue naturally and not worry about the lip sync, because Chinese script lip sync would be far more brutal to keep up with than Japanese script lip sync. And as soon as they do Chinese first, let's say, yeah, so they just kind of let them do their thing, even the lips don't match. So music's a freaking danger. Well, yeah. And I'd rather it that way. Can you imagine them trying to rush through their words all the time to catch up? So just letting them all voice naturally, even if all the characters go like that. And just stop their lips moving. The animators, yeah. I mean, to be fair, but considering how often the updates are, I don't know if they'd even be able to fit it in their schedule to rework the lip syncing for each language. But that's just, like, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with all the departments within Hoyoverse and yada yada that makes the game and, like, puts it together as a hobby, and how important lip syncing is. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and, you have to promise me something. Never take off your mask.
Uh-oh.
Understand? Whatever happens, you mustn't take it off.
Okay, Papa. I won't. I promise.
Well, at some point he's going to get curious. Father and son talk for a long while. Ida seems to be a changed man after his religious experience.
Since that day have I been so glad as I am now. I can't believe this is really happening.
It's unbelievable.
I knew that placing my hope in the Seven was a waste of time. I even worshipped at one of their statues like a common fool. Never before have I humiliated myself like that.
But you need to work on your talking habits, because you're going to creep your son out after a while.
Once a murderer, always a murderer. I was naive to think that the gods who conspired against us would ever offer redemption.
Muse is dangerous, by the way. I thought, was that not the person that was, like, super goddamn horny for the main character in Cold Steel, or am I thinking of someone else?
But the god we saw in that cave, now, that was a truly mighty god. Nothing like the Seven. That wondrous power, it was truly enchanting. Surely that must have been the reason I bowed down. Now then, after one besieges a god, and the god responds by answering their prayers, should they, do something
manipulator.
to show their devotion? Piety is hardly my area of expertise. But surely I should honor the god that is honored
Ida,
my
but that
wishes.
wasn't a god, that was a sinner.
A sinner? Oh, don't be absurd. You don't know a single thing about him. How dare you utter such blasphemy?
Oh, Jesus.
You and I have both witnessed his divine power. When has the Seven worked a miracle like this before? Never! He is a god, mightier than they, and yet
described by many as a harpy, and by the main as a master chess player. Oh, I mean, yeah, okay.
No matter. Believe what you will. You cannot shake my faith. I am going to pay my respects with or without you.
Fine, go ahead. Ida's experience has deeply affected him. Not that he was particularly stable to begin with, but this religion fervor is something else. Seriously, I love it. Guess I better catch up with him anyway. There are monsters everywhere. I can't stand by and let him fall into their hands. Meanwhile, the far side of fate, Paimon and Dane are still nowhere to be seen. Like, it's kind of wild having this whole quest. Like, Paimon just kind of says, hey, we're cool, aren't we? And go, yeah, sure. Alright, let's get some sleep. And then in the morning, she's gone. And we haven't seen her since. Like, it's kind of weird to actually have a whole quest where Paimon isn't carrying the dialogue all the time. At the top of the best goals for free. Fair enough. Back into the creepy sanctuary we go. Go to the statue. Are we going to be right there, or do I have to run through it again? Yeah, and door resurrection. If you need to reset your party, you can.
Shudder. Crush.
But when those like violins creep in when you're in the battle variant of this track, oh, it's so good. It's gone.
No. Impossible. What happened?
It's gone.
The Hilichurl worshippers have disappeared too. Was it all an illusion?
We couldn't have both seen the exact same illusion.
That's true. Yes, it can't have been an illusion. I still feel that awesome and wondrous power flowing through my mind and body. It was neither illusion nor coincidence, and certainly no dream. It was a wonder. Yes, a divine wonder. Let's go, traveler. There is surely a reason for its disappearance, and I do believe that someday in the future we shall see it again.
You're turning into a zealot.
Could he really have been a sinner and not a god?
Uh-oh. I just crossed my mind. Something's going to happen to his son. That's just crossed his mind. Uh-oh. I've just crossed my mind, even. I mean, right now, it's a weird mercenary...
Where has he
Jaeger
gone?
civil war. He's not... Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Maybe someone else came by and found him? No, it can't have been that. There's no sign of a break-in, and no sign of anyone having been here.
But why?
This does not bode well. What if he's spotted by a forest ranger or an adventurer in his current state?
We have to find him first.
Wait a minute. This isn't how we left it. Oh, no.
He found the mirror.
Did he...
Yeah, he found the mirror and saw himself.
The mirror, it's broken!
It was always Oh! When we first got here with Dane and Paimon, we found a broken mirror. Do you think when we napped we were taken back in time? And we're seeing what led to this place being the way it is? But hasn't that been broken this whole time? What does the broken mirror mean?
He must have taken his mask off and seen what he looks like beneath it. If he'd just done as he was told! We have to find him. It's his scarf. He dropped it. Looks like we're going the right way. Come on.
Is here to search for Caribou?
Caribou!
Caribou, sorry.
Caribou! Where are you? Curses! Forest rangers.
Hey! Who are you? We haven't seen you around here before. What's your business here?
Have you seen a hilly churl? A hilly churl should have come past this way. Have you seen it?
Man, that's the most sane question to
I asked
ask.
you first. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be.
I said, have you seen a hilly churl?
Ida.
Hey, whoa. Look, sir, there's no need to get so worked up. There are hilly churls everywhere. What's the big deal? We see plenty of them out here.
Exactly. Matter of fact, we just took out a few of them back there. Those dumb boneheads.
You forest ranger scum! You spawn of the seven are all the same. I'll have your heads if you so much as laid a finger on Caribou.
You're raving mad! You've got some gall coming here to our nation insulting the forest rangers!
Curse you all, forest rangers.
Stop it, Ida. Both sides calm down for now, thanks to your urging.
I don't get it. Why make such a huge fuss over a few hilly churls? Makes no sense.
He'd only just regained his mind. How could you do this to him? So tell me, forest rangers, did you really spare none of them? Did you really take out every last hilly churl you saw?
Jeez, you're really not gonna let this go. Fine, you weirdo. If you must know, I happened to cross paths with a solitary hilly churl when I left the team to, use the toilet. I was frightened at first, but it didn't seem to have any interest in me at all. It was just bumbling along in that direction, so I left it alone.
That could very well have been Caribou.
Yes! Wonderful! Wonderful! Let's go! We have to find him!
And off we go.
Wait, you're leaving? Not even a thanks for the info, goodbye?
Are they still there if I backtrack? Oh, they're already gone. Okay, they're not relevant anymore, so they despawn. I was so surprised the forest rangers didn't arrest the man. Oh, is that a hilly shot? No. Okay. Oh, don't worry, that's not Caribou. Yeah, I'll just...
Caribou!
We found him.
Caribou, stop! It's me! It's Papa! Whatever you saw, it was all a trick. An illusion. I told you. We're in a fairy tale world now. Nothing here is real. Please, Caribou, come back. It's time to go back. Caribou?
He's not responding.
How could this happen? He regained his mind. He must be able to hear me. Surely. Come, Caribou. We have to go home now. Papa's here to take you home, all right?
Something's not right with him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I'm worried.
Papa?
Caribou.
Papa, I can't take it.
Please, Caribou. It's my fault. I'm so sorry. If only I'd known.
It's all too much. Papa!
I see. I understand.
Okay, that didn't end as horribly as I thought it was going to be. The whole, like, standing on the edge of the cliff saying it was too much, I was like, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Finally, it all makes sense.
What happened? I faint? With Caribou taking the mask off, but then...
Aha! Traveler, you're awake! Finally, we can rejoice together. Wait, no. Why am I still calling you Traveler? Oh, I have known your...
There's thunder striking outside. Did you just see that post outside? Also, look at Lumine's face. That is the eyes of... Oh, fuck, I might be in danger here. What do you mean true identity?
I suspected it was you. Oh, from the beginning. I had to talk to you to be sure.
But I've never met you.
Oh, of course you haven't. With your status, you can hardly be expected to know all of us. In any case, I've been using a fake name this entire time. Ida is the name of a servant I once had.
Okay.
My real name is Clotar. Clotar Alberich.
Oh, fuck. How far into the past will we just get sent back? You're Alberich. Are you the guy that started the fucking Abyss Order? Alberich?
You saw it too, didn't you? Unmistakable, the power inside Caribert.
Oh god, were we sent that far back into the past?
It was one and the same. Yeah. I am positive now. It's the power of the
I
Abyss,
was
isn't
wondering why they brought up Alberich at the start of this story. So we have gone back in time. The reason why that Abyss Herald wasn't an Abyss Herald, he was just like it was just someone of great power that this man immediately was charmed by and thought was interesting. Was because it didn't work for the Abyss yet, because the Abyss doesn't exist yet, because this is the founder.
At long last, I have seen it with my own eyes.
What happened to Calibar?
That is no business of yours. A sinner. Yes. Salvation for a sinner can only come from a sinner. Caribert did not deserve his fate, but now it's wonderful. He will be able to weave his own destiny anew. Born into abject sorrow, he shall now become the loom of fate.
Oh, and there's that term again, the loom of fate. You're right about this being from the Abyss, but the Abyss is sinister and dangerous.
Sinister? Dangerous? Oh, I never imagined that you, of all people, would deny the Abyss. How ridiculous! We once believed that you would bring new strength.
I think you're mistaking me for my brother. I think because it's the time shenanigans.
To us, you were the Abyss. A wondrous mystery far beyond our imagination and comprehension. And the one who controls the Abyss can control everything. We yearned for that future. We looked to you to take us there. But what did you bring us instead, oh Prince of Conria?
Yeah, everything we've done, we've been seeing from Aoife's perspective.
What did he just call me?
Traveler!
What's going on?
You're awake!
Oh, thank God! That was, Jesus Christ.
Paimon was worried sick! Traveler? Traveler?
What happened while you were unconscious? I checked the ley lines nearby.
But now we're in...
It appears that the Abyss tampered with them, and they've been in turmoil ever
Is this
since.
ether in our body? Is it like a body swap?
Information and memories flow within the ley lines. What did you witness?
The founder of the Abyss Order, Alberich.
You mean Clotar Alberich?
Fuck, I was right.
After founding the Abyss,
Okay, maybe not body
his
swapped.
faith in the Abyss led him to do a great many things. But the curse of immortality continued to torment his body and mind. And in the end, neither his faith nor the Abyss he worshipped could save him. After 100 years, he lost his mind completely and was never seen again. Yet his dark legacy lived on. The defiled statue that we encountered previously was just one perverse product of his use of abyssal power during his life.
And despite that, my brother ultimately sided with him, didn't he?
You could say that. He wouldn't be the Abyss Order's prince otherwise.
Are you alright? You have a troubled look on your face. What happened?
I have a story to tell. Your words sent Dainsliff deep into thought.
So you saw his memories from centuries ago through your own eyes. It all but defies belief. Still, as I'd suspected, the notion of the Loom of Fate did indeed rear its head during that time. And it seems closely connected to Clothar Alberich's son, Caribert, and what happened to him.
So Caribert, following that logic, is he still alive? Because otherwise, how did Kaya Alberich come around? You know, who continued the legacy of that family to get to where we are now?
And yet your brother never breathed a word of this incident to me. I wonder, was that the moment that he decided to go down this path?
I also wish that I could know what he thought about all of this. But one thing is clear, this was not a happy memory.
Indeed. Clearly this series of events sparked a long period of deep contemplation. This was where it all began.
There's something I need to check.
What is it?
I need to know what lies buried in this field.
Field? What does that have to do with anything?
You mean here? Well, let's start.
And shouldn't we
digging
go
and
check
see.
if that is, like, dark chasm-y void area is still there? Or does sometime you and Dane discover what was buried in the field?
You scared the Duke out of Paimon! Did you rebury them yet?
Yeah, we're done. You can open your eyes.
Male and female skeleton, buried together. Interestingly, the male skeleton appears to have been interred much later, and it's holding a silk scarf in its hand. But what does this mean? And how did you know that there were bodies buried here?
I think the bones of that man belonged to Clothar Alberich.
What? That's impossible, unless Clothar Alberich finally found a way to rid himself of the curse.
Perhaps he did.
This all raises far too many questions. I need time to think, and to search my memories for some missing pieces.
I think we all need some time to think.
Here.
Huh? You're just gonna leave? Why? You could come with us, you know.
It's better that we split up for now. I think that he might have seen you.
Who's he?
The voice I heard in my head?
Yes. I have my suspicions as to his identity, but I need to confirm some other details before I can be sure.
Ooh.
If the time is right, I will tell you when we next meet.
Ooh. Next Dainsliff quest, we might learn who that voice is.
What do you mean that he saw the Traveler? How is that possible?
It all happened hundreds of years in the
I
past.
fear that while these things would limit anyone else, they are no obstacle to him.
Can we stop saying him? Who? Give a name.
Why? What is he?
A sinner.
All right, let's leave it there. Get some rest.
So now I've got another lore villain potentially to have to keep in my memory. We've got the unknown god. We've got our brother. We've got the Archon of Snezhnaya. We've got potentially Dane, but we'll have to see how that goes and how he contains trust memory. And now we've got the sinner.
There goes Dane. And just like that, it's back to being the two of us again, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Paimon, one more thing.
What is it?
I missed you.
Huh?
Okay, I'm going to assume this is supposed to be we gave her a hug. I'm going to assume that was supposed to be us giving Paimon a hug. That was just weirdly animated. Caribert achievement. Well, I'm surprised we didn't at least... Hang on. Oh. Fan couldn't believe it's a kiss. Oh, this was all caves. So they built this village on top of what that cave thing was. So that's why we can't go over there, because it would have been like in that kind of dip going that way. Oh, that makes sense. But that's it. What a fascinating fucking story. But now we've got this sinner to pay attention to. And that was a main story quest, by the way. That was the Archon quest. That was chapter 6, or act 6. So that means that's absolutely going to become relevant later on. Interesting. Well, we're only 2 hours into this stream. That ended up being a bit shorter than I thought it'd be. So we can absolutely tackle Dehya's character quest. I don't know how long Dehya's is going to be, but we can at least give it a go. But if that takes around 2 hours as well, then that would be a good point in the wrap up. So the event won't happen, unfortunately, on stream. Because there's only, like, what, 10 days left of the event, and I need to actually, you know, go for it and get it done, and I don't know where in the schedule I'd fit in to do it again, so I'll just do it in my spare time. Because once we finish Caligula Effect, because I think, looking at how much, like, where we are, I feel like we'll be done before the end of next week. Then there'll still be a week to play with. I will decide how when we get there, outside of, you know, worrying about Hades if we hit 450 subs. I want to get one more RE game in, because it's been a while since I covered RE3. So I want to cover the next one on the list. I want to do Code Veronica. Sorry, my throat's gone a little bit from that. Alright, now we've got to put all that Archon stuff aside, because the game has to assume that you could have done Dehya's character quest first, so... I put this on auto so I can still think.
Paimon would know the aroma of biryani anywhere. Let's go get some.
But now I'm really curious about who the sinner is. Like, I'm more curious about the sinner than I am, like, the unknown god's identity, you know? That wasn't on our list, was it?
We can still add it to the list.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon.
Well, if it isn't my wife. Hey, Dehya. Shame you, like, you're you're terrible in gameplay, but that's besides the point. Also, hello, Dunya-san. It's nice to see you again as well.
Dehya, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back to the desert?
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends. The Homayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them
It's
up.
genuinely tragic what they did to Dehya's kit right now. Hopefully, like, it gets some kind of buff later on, but an ult that can be interrupted by anything, a support that only works if you, like, hyper-focus her stats, but then it weakens everything else, and her base attack stat being god-awful just makes her an unfun character, tragically.
So welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of.
Which sucks, because her design is amazing, and her personality is amazing. She's genuinely one of my favorite characters in Sumeru.
I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dehya. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though.
You don't work for her anymore, Dehya. You don't have to keep on calling her my lady.
What? She said they'll treat you to the best.
And meanwhile, Paimon's like, it's food? Don't turn down food, you idiot!
But wait. Didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? Why don't you just take me with you today, when you leave? There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
Alright, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like... I feel like something is off about you lately.
Ooh.
Ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious and even paranoid. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Nah, are you kidding?
Nah! Yeah. Oh, that means there's something, Dehya. We can read you like a book.
Did you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further if you're willing to swear on what you just said.
Ooh.
But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You know I'll help you however I can.
Oh, Looks like Dunyarzad was onto something.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble. Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
See, Dunyarzad's cool. These two are cool.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly
Are we just third wheeling? Are we just kind of here? Like Lumine and like Paimon are just like, should we go? He's like he's having a moment.
Okay, let's talk here.
Oh.
Just try not to draw any extra attention.
Go
As
on.
you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora.
And that kid in the background just like has to cover her ears because she's just gonna hear all of this.
My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave. However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Deshret's Relics? Judging from
I thought you didn't pronounce the T. I thought it was Desiree.
Yep, you got it. I've heard that you've already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Yeah.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar. The Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dakan al-Akmar.
Dakan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable.
Yes, Beard Lord. Let's go defeat Beard Lord.
Anyway, the real issue is that Dakan al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Ooh.
Say what now?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now. But what did they do?
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yep. The scenes tend to be quite gruesome, too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them.
Jesus Christ.
Not only have they targeted merchant
Can we have like a happy story today in this stream?
Mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible.
I guess that's what the event's for. That's probably why the event exists. It's like, look, all the story stuff's gonna be miserable as fuck, so let's have an event where, like, Shy Bean from Sumeru, the Shy Bean from Mondstadt, and the Shy Bean from, I think, Liyue all hang out together. You know, there's just... You gotta fit it all over again. Because a lot of the event is, like, Sucrose, Coley... like, just kind of vibing with each other and being friends with, like, some amber here and there. I mean, not Leeway then, but you know what I mean? Like, it's got, like the actual event's got, like, a real cozy vibe to it. I mean, fucking Sino's in it, cracking jokes. Albedo's in it, just being Albedo. You know, like, it seems, like, super light-hearted. I said, I don't know, because I haven't started it, because I said I didn't know if I'd be able to fit it in this, but there's seemingly no way I'm going to be able to fit it in this.
I don't know how Deshret's Relic sees it. All I do know is that Dakan al-Akmar has
But I
become
also
more
get,
more
and I've been saying this for the
aggressive
past
over
few
last
streams
years.
we've tackled Genshin, that this game, they're clearly trying to show that they've learned a little from Honkai's writing. And that's not to say Honkai's writing's bad. In fact, I'd argue Honkai's writing's better than Genshin because it's more concentrated. But the biggest thing that was like a huge like whiplash was that Honkai started out super happy-go-lucky and was super positive, like, yeah, like, the girls going on their adventure and doing their things and defeating the bad guys, but got extremely fucking dark later on. But the moment it got dark, it was like one specific chapter. It went from really bubbly, like, lovely fun with Kiana and the gang to everyone's dying, the main character gets possessed, your auntie has to sacrifice herself, and all that shit. Like, it went from, like, yeah, to, oh god, super sharply. It feels like this game wants to do that journey again, but this time not make that whiplash in the middle. Like, it feels like they've trying to learn from Honkai's mistake a little there by making it that this game also starts off pretty happy. It's pretty bubbly. Like, you know, you help Venti, you know, his dragon shenanigans. Like, you know, and he's just like a drunk idiot. You help out not Batman with, oh, I've already forgotten his name. It's been so long. The redhead's name. You know, like you do all these little things. Like, you help out Lisa pick out a book for the library and all this shit. Like, you do like super lighthearted stuff, but slowly but surely this darker shit's crept in. And Sumeru being the most middle point chapter in the game, because, you know, 3 regions before it, 3 regions yet to go. I'm guessing like now's the point where, like, yeah, they are trying to make it come across darker. They are trying to make it more mature in places. And, like, have some of that more vicious stuff come in, because we're in that middle point. It's gonna just get darker from here. Like, Fontaine, other than the fact it's, you know, called Fontaine, I expect that, the Kingdom of Law, to get a lot darker in places as well. Natlan being all volcanic, I'm expecting it to have a lot of pain and suffering from either the ashes or whatever. And Snezhnaya being bad guy land, obviously shit's gonna kick off in bad guy land. You know?
If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target.
Jesus.
I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father do such
Yeah, we need to go find him and confront him.
I know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic.
Ooh, he is not a fan of her dad. Good to know.
That he wouldn't cross.
That's setting the bar pretty low.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women.
Oh, okay, so Dehya's literally got almost by the book daddy issues. In that sense. Abandoned her father because she saw him as nothing but a drunk womanizer. Yeah, but where we've heard that one before in, like, any story ever.
Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she ever step in to stop them?
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Dehya. I didn't know.
It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person.
That's a real, like, PG way of saying that he fucked around a lot.
He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case,
oh wow,
he never came to see me.
That paints a picture. Oh god, Dehya. I was say that paints a picture of itself. He isn't sure who the mother is. The mother, not the other way around. You know, the mother, the person who, you know, held her for 9 months and gave birth to her. You didn't pay attention or notice that at all. Jesus Christ. Holy shit, like, oh god, that's a long time to just not notice and not remember. Wow. Wow, how much of a womanizer did he think he was?
He'd say, you'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad. But even then, he left.
Hit the father for real? Yeah, right? Like, Jesus Christ, Dehya, no wonder you got away from your dad.
Stories.
He sounds like a grade A see you next Tuesday.
But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the
Yeah.
first or second time around. But after about 20 repeats, they started to get a little dull. He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play.
Yeah, but it's like people that say sugar, honey, iced tea. Instead of just saying shit, you know? Like, the only reason why I try not to, I've said it before, say the C word too much, is because I know YouTube is thankfully starting to loosen some of its verbal censorship policies, but that one in particular was like the ultimate no-no that got like YouTube to like never recommend your videos, never allows you to monetize. Like that was like the one they like if they caught it in the system or whatever, you were in trouble. So that's the one I've been trying to make an active point of not saying as often. Because I used to say it all the time. If you go through my old Let's Plays or like from my early streams, you can hear that I say it all the time. But then I saw that my videos were literally getting like devalued in the recommendations. People weren't getting notifications for them, etc, etc. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, clearly it's not working. Clearly I need to stop saying that. And lo and behold, when I stopped saying it, my videos started doing better. Either during or post-stream. Like, when we were getting notified, the videos were getting around, like they were actually getting advertised. Not advertised, but you know what I mean, like ending up in people's recommendations. So clearly it was having an influx. Yeah, it used to be any swears within the first 45 seconds, any excessive use of swearing, or specific swears would affect how you stand on recommendations, affect whether you can be monetized and whatnot, etc, etc. It is getting loosened. I don't know when, like, the date of it is, but when the new CEO came in, one of the first things that's getting changed is that it's, like, excessive swearing in the first 7 seconds instead. They're still keeping excessive swearing, but I think they're getting looser on using the C-bomb. Some principle. Like, it's each their own. Basically, anything that would make you not advertiser-friendly. Most advertisers don't care if you swear once or twice. But if you swear like a South Park character, then yeah, eventually they're going to get on your case. Eventually they're not going to want to be associated for you, even for a one-off advert. So you can't get monetized then, sort of thing.
Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields,
because I'm British. I like, swearing's literally embedded into my language. So but I still, you know, be censored. Nah, I say it's just advertisers. That's why the whole system even came in place, because the previous YouTube CEO only wanted to please advertisers, but then now she stepped down. The new one that's taken in, although there may be trouble afoot because, you know, new CEO always brings new troubles. He did want to change and loosen some of the oddities of YouTube's old rulings, and one of them, also due to a lot of public feedback, was loosening a lot of, like, this policy surrounding swearing.
It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
I mean, it's a long journey before anyone starts trusting YouTube's higher-ups for anything, but it's a nice first step to try and actually get people's trust again, now that previous CEO is no longer with the company.
What an interesting guy.
Speaking of CEOs, I'm very curious to see what Square Enix's new CEO will be like, considering he has a not-so-nice history. Because the previous CEO, it's not that he's stepping down, it's that he's getting ousted by his, like, stock associates, because he's had too many failures in a row. Or too many bad decisions in a row. And so they're straight up replacing him. Next fiscal year meeting, he's getting kicked out and replaced by, I forget his first name, but everyone's just been memeing on the fact his last name is Kiryu. But Kiryu, the upcoming new CEO of Square Enix, has a history in the metaverse, as in, you know, Facebook's bullshit. Removed. Well, the policy's still going through, so give it time. So it's not like, I don't know when it goes active. It's just plans they change. It's just changes they plan to make. The original system is still in action right this second, you know. But yeah, the new CEO coming in, Kiryu, has history in Facebook's metaverse bullshit, and so people are still, like, concerned. It's like, we might be getting rid of, like, Mr. NFT, because that was, like, the biggest thing that was, like, dooming Square Enix, that the current CEO was super into NFTs. But the current one might not be that much better at this rate. We just have to wait and see, because the turnover doesn't happen until the fiscal year meeting.
Yeah,
but doesn't this guy have good intentions?
Pretty childish. That was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him.
What do you mean you had no reason to despise him, Dehya? He didn't know who your mother was.
Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself.
Cynicism.
Looting,
well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that's what I was getting at a minute ago, where I said, like, although there are things changing, that doesn't mean YouTube has anyone's trust yet. And why should they? The amount of damage the higher-ups have caused just to serve their own pockets to a platform that only exists because of the public is insane. You're not going to suddenly turn everyone back on your side overnight. Especially when there's so much automation in YouTube still existing through bots and whatnot that make a lot of these rules and regulations hard to be effectively and accurately handled. A lot of them are very dishonest or just people mass reporting or things like that that trigger the bot systems. Like, it's very exploitable still. Until major changes like that come into play, what can we do? You know, like, what trust do they expect people to have?
No one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down. Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings.
I think it's interesting that Dehya was raised almost predominantly by only her father, and yet she developed her own moral compass strong enough to understand that what her father did was wrong. Or has been doing is wrong. Because, like, realistically, yes, what the father's done is horrible, but we have it as a perspective of, you know, not living that life. Dehya's literally grown up with that, and yet for that somehow along the way developed enough of her own moral compass to go like, no, this is wrong.
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me.
Why they suddenly started causing so much trouble here?
Yeah. I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you not to worry.
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid concerns.
I'll go back to the desert with Dehya.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
Dehya, you don't understand. I have been begging for the past, like, 8 updates in a row for you to become a permanent party member in the story. You might not be, you know, good as an actual party member in gameplay stuff, but to have an extra story person join us along, you don't have a purpose right now. You're just going around freelancing. So join me. Join me. Come to Fontaine with me. Come to Natlan with me. Come to Snezhnaya with me. Please, Shen-He won't answer my calls, so I need to get someone else here.
Well, she's super tough, so if she went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem will be solved in no time.
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took her along to help.
Shen-He won't answer my calls, and I have no idea where Kazuya vanished to. Count on me.
I'll wait for news from you in the city until then. Please, stay safe.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady. All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Rebot, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
So the edge of the desert, got it. Lion's Blood. Ooh, nice chapter name. Yeah, over here at the caravan. Oh, I have finally 100%ed this. I did get around to it. Just for, you know, the next update that's coming in a few weeks is going to be like this chunk of land. And I'm going to want to cover it because it's going to include a new weekly boss. And so, of course, I want to experience like the new major boss with you guys. So we might end up having a major stream doing a little bit of map exploring. But it's generally going to be like all of this space. But as far as I'm aware, this will be the last proper chunk of Sumeru. After that, the next major expansion will probably be starting to build up towards Fontaine. And Fontaine's supposed to make up this sort of space. Somewhere around here, I believe. Which would be nice, because the map is kind of like a giant and like upside down V right now. Like there's this split point here. Down here is Inazuma. You got the mainland here, but all the rest is just diagonal heading southwest all the time. So making it go a bit more north here to cover more of the land. And then it'd also make it so it can link back to, you know, Liyue, link back to Mondstadt over here. Like, I know the Black Castle is supposed to be around here somewhere, so I doubt we'll get there just yet. But it'd be nice to make this map feel a little bit, you know, more complete and not like a tunnel down this way all the time. Because that's what it currently is. I say that, I think Natlan is supposed to be over here, so that tunnel's going to keep on going. Snezhnaya is supposed to be like top left corner. So we have to keep on moving this direction eventually, which is probably why this chunk of Sumeru is like this here. Because Snezhnaya is going to be like way up here. Well, you can see how much we can... The map's still scrolling. It's going to be like way the fuck up here. I just thought it'd be quicker to do that. And that's ignoring all like the in-betweens that they could add in expansions. They don't always have to all be tied to different lands. It could just be like, you know, the no man's land in between. Literally like Elden Ring's the land between. Pleasure to meet you. I trust you of my life.
Oh? So you've already become like one of us then? Well, that's good to know.
Dehya, have you got like an army of simps of your mercenary group?
Anyway,
just out of curiosity.
Newcomer, let me fill you in on what the Khan al-Ahmar's been up to lately. They've become extremely aggressive. Apparently, even their own now have become acceptable targets. They even attack other relics brigades, just the same as any other mercenary brigade.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. And it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected enough loot off the other mercenaries, they sell it off to a different brigade, or turn to merchants on the black market. A portion of their profits is immediately exchanged for more food and weaponry to be used in their next violent operation.
That's terrible!
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why they're so desperate for Mora. A few days ago, Isham and I trailed them for a while, and even disguised ourselves as merchants to conduct trade with them. We were able to learn a few things from the exchange. Rather than saying they're out to plunder and hoard Mora, it'd probably be more accurate to say that they're experiencing an internal power struggle.
Wait, a power struggle?
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are mercenaries from the other brigades of Deshret's relics. If their only goal is Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attacks points to a power struggle between the different brigades within the relics. That's the only plausible explanation we have. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find out anything more specific. It seems they're also trying to keep things under wraps. Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as the Khan al-Ahmar became more and more active, Deshret's relics as a whole became a lot weaker.
That somehow makes things even more confusing.
Sounds mighty strange to me too. Haroon, you can leave the rest of the investigation to us. Gotta say though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone. Sounds like you were really putting your necks on the line, no?
Nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are. The Khan al-Ahmar is your father's crew after all.
What he said. Besides, Dehya, haven't you done more dangerous things than all of us combined? What we did is nothing compared to your experiences. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, who are these question marks? Is anyone suspicious, or is it just more of Dehya's group?
Any survivors of the attack were already long gone. There was nothing of value left in the camp.
To be fair, I get more of like Dehya is like the lead of this part of like the bandit group, but it feels more like a group of friends than it feels like a leader and like subordinates, you know?
Ah.
But I suppose that's just Dehya's personality coming through.
You're here too.
That she's not that type to be very rulery.
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Rebat. Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind the ears.
Hey, I've been traveling for 2 and a bit years.
Now that we know you'll have a capable...
It's crazy to think this game's 2.5 years old. You know, next September will roll around and I'll be like, yeah, happy 3rd anniversary to Genshin. I'll be like, what the fuck? I wonder if Fontaine will be out by then or not. If Fontaine will be out before or after the 3rd anniversary. Because apparently it's expected to be up till 3.8, and we're on 3.5 right now. So 6 weeks from now, 3.6. 6 weeks there, 3.7. 6 weeks, 3.8. 6 weeks, presumably 4.0. So 6, 12, 18, 24 weeks. Where would 24 weeks put us on average? Late August, fuck. So maybe just before the anniversary. I just went through my calendar, like taking rough estimates. It'd be like mid to late August will be like potentially Fontaine. So just before the anniversary potentially.
Hey, what about
God, it's so far away. Oh no.
Oh,
you're also planning to tag along with them?
But in mid to late August would actually be perfect timing for schedule. Because mid to late August, Final Fantasy 16 I probably would have entirely finished by then. Atelier Marie, it comes out at the start of July, so that would have been out and I probably would have done it by then. We would have been knee-deep into the Atelier Marathon, I presume, if not nearly done by then, because of how many games I want to cover. It'd probably actually be good timing for us to then burn a number of streams just going through exploring Fontaine. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Of course.
The only thing I need to get into the habit of is paying attention to whether the updates drop on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Because they used to drop on Tuesdays. When there was the delay due to COVID, and then they played catch up by having all the updates come out after 5 weeks instead of 6 to like catch up back to the normal schedule. Like one of them was on Wednesday, 2 of them on Tuesday. This update dropped on a Wednesday. So it's like I need to try and pay more attention to when these updates drop. So when the next update comes out and I want to cover the World Quest, we're actually lined up for it. And actually, like, the schedule's lined up, and I'm not like a day early and it's not out yet, or a day late and it's already, you know, I already had the chance to run around but didn't, or something like that.
Oh. In that case, then you'd better take care of her too, Dehya.
Don't underestimate Paimon!
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the Traveler here. Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge by appearances.
Oh, one other thing, Dehya. When you're free, why don't you update the deputy about your upcoming schedule? We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Main. You weren't around this time, so
everyone only just got to see the cool muscle girl.
The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was basically for nothing. Only a few people chose to stay, and that really got to him.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time. I left in a hurry, and I couldn't make it back in time for the event.
Gotta admit, I can understand their disappointment, though. You're our brigade's main selling point, after all. Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way to bring a few more smoking hot members into our ranks.
Yeah, alright.
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all just froze up with your mouths gaping like a bunch of scarecrows. The awkward silence and weird expressions left quite the impression on them. They were originally interested in joining us, but after that...
Yeah, wow, way to just call them out in broad daylight, dear. Wow!
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never heard about this?
I don't think you were part of the brigade yet.
That's hilarious.
I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that, and you weren't even gonna tell me?
All right. We can tell you about it later. Now's
Also,
not the time.
why did they like get all like frozen up being around other girls when Dehya's their leader? Well, wouldn't they be used to Dehya? What?
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here and tell me everything right now.
Are they always like this?
They're just, yeah, they're just like pretty grown children.
More or less. There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercenaries. We're used to just speaking our minds. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at them. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge them to a fight. But we also don't tend to take many things too seriously.
Take things too seriously. Say, like, look at it in the background.
As soon as things come up, is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about it. That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to it. Though, I can never do that when I'm with the Homayanis.
So yeah, it's just a group of open people that all mutually agree to always just be open and honest, regardless of whether they're happy, upset, pissed off, or whatever.
Hey, knuckleheads, can you at least tell me the rest of the intel before you go back to your bickering?
Yeah, you hear her, Holloff? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation first.
They are like a bunch of kids.
I drew up a map. Right here is the spot. There you'll find the merchant caravan responsible for getting rid of Dekhan al-Akhmar's looted goods. All you gotta do is wait and ambush them in the evening. They'll have no idea what hit them.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regards to everyone else in the brigade as well.
Will do. You stay safe, Dehya.
Alright. Where are we going on the trade route? Oh, here? I mean, yeah, makes sense. Trade route going down to the port. Right? I'm not going insane. This road goes straight down to the port? Yeah, it does. I pay way too much attention to Genshin's map. I genuinely know Genshin's map better than I do my town. The town I live in.
Find a spot to hide and bide our time.
I have a habit of doing that. It was the same back when GTA 5 was like first came out. You know, before I kind of got tired of it after, you know, being the only thing Rockstar talks about for the next decade. Like, I know GTA 5's map better than I know my own home. But I knew Los Santos too well. I knew where everything was. When I was like, oh, I'm at this place, I wouldn't have to check the map. I'd be like, alright, and I'll just go over there.
It's gonna come down to a fight one way.
But then GTA 5 is the epitome of, I miss it in the moment, but I'm glad I came away from it. If that makes sense. Like, I spent for like ages on that game when it first came out, like, and did like for a good number of years. It was like 2018, 2019. I was still playing it regularly with like friends and whatnot. But like once I was done with it though, like every now and then I'm like, man, that was good times. But at the same time, I don't think I'd enjoy it if I go back. Like, I think my time with it's long since done, if that makes sense. So it's like I miss it, but I'm glad I'm letting it go. And I'd rather like genuinely like whenever GTA 6 comes around, just kind of start fresh with that. I don't know if there's going to be like a GTA Online transfer or whatever that you can keep your character and whatnot. I kind of hope not, because GTA 5's Online got seriously out of hand with all like the instant transmission missile sends and like the indestructible attack helicopters and the flying bikes with missiles attached to them and all that other shit. Like, it got way out of hand in terms of like power scaling, and I think just letting that loose in another map would make it really unbalanced for newcomers, that people that like kind of come in new, and you try and join the first multiplayer match and you just get bombed into the next, you just get bombed back to GTA 5.
No need to worry, she knows her way.
But we don't know yet, so we don't know anything. All we know about GTA 6 is what leaked out ages ago. And to be fair, what leaked out ages ago caught my interest. A lot of people like took shots at it that the graphics didn't look that good, and I was like, it's an early test build. Graphics are the last thing they'll fucking worry about. Why are people bringing that up? Like, it's just so many people outed themselves as having no understanding of how game design works. It was like, oh, the game looks terrible. It's like, it's not even an alpha state. They had no intention of revealing this thing for another 2 years yet, presumably. This was like an early fucking like pre-proper development build that got leaked out. Of course the graphics don't look good. You know? But I like the concept of it being like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of story. And it's seemingly having some involvement in Vice City, which we haven't been in since Vice City Stories, the PSP title.
We still need to get information out of them.
Or just Vice City if you've never like played the PSP titles. Which is fair enough. They're nice games, but they're also very much sign of their times in some areas. Even more so than the actual console games. Like, I'd say like Liberty City Stories is aged worse than GTA 3 in places.
Let's not give them a chance to react and end this quickly.
Oh, is this gonna be we gonna play as Dehya for a bit? Yep, okay, you get to see how like Dehya's kind of underwhelming. Actually, before we go over there, let me show. This is her base moveset. Well, the enemy saw us. Her charge is pretty standard. This is her skill. So now it adds like an extra fire here once every 10 years. You can double tap it if you want to reposition it somewhere else, but you can only do it twice.
There is no escape. Buckle up. Ha!
I wanted to see if I could fill up her burst to show it, but no, the enemies died too quick. But you see how little damage she did anyway? Like how long we wailed on them anyway? And these supposed to be like little enemies? Ugh.
Huh? You're the Flame Bane.
Look at that grin. Look at that grin on her. She's like, yeah, I am, bitch.
That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakana Lakmar now? Tell me, What are they after?
You know the code of being a mercenary just like everyone else. The first rule is to never divulge key information about our employer. What makes you think I'd talk?
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it, though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes? You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you.
Whoa!
It's alright, Paimon.
I'm not joking around. We can do this the easy way or the painful way. 2 seconds.
I'll save you the trouble.
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies.
There's a treatment to bleeding in his mouth, got under control.
Definitely didn't expect him to go that far. Thankfully, the wound wasn't too deep, and he just passed out from the pain.
Oh, I always admire his commitment.
Why would he be so extreme?
The information he has must be that valuable.
I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them. I didn't expect him to be willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some intel.
Well, he's out cold for now. We could wait for him to wake up, but maybe it's not a good idea to interrogate him any further. What should we do?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be a waste of time to interrogate him again after that. He might just hurt himself again if we start asking. There are lots of goods around here. Let's search the area. Maybe we'll be able to find something. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, really sorry, we're gonna loot all your shit because you bit your fucking tongue off. A lot of daily necessities like food and water in the boxes. It doesn't seem like there's anything noteworthy. There are weapons in the boxes, but a bunch of medicine and bandages. Seems like Darken Al-Akmar is really up to no good.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on it. Maybe it's a record of something.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their transactions. Yep. I see an entry for Dakan Al-Akmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakan Al-Akmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for Mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person. That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakan Al-Akmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction?
No value?
Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora, but the final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the desert, was simply marked as delivered. Perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shazamon Homayani?
What?
Homayani? You mean Dunyarzad's family?
Oh.
Could it just be another family with the same last name?
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shazamon Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family.
Ooh.
What the heck is going on here?
Calm down, Dehya.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet. But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakan Al-Akmar.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know they've been trading with Dakan Al-Akmar?
That's a possibility. But if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shazamon as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Ribat or Port Ormos.
If Shazamon was actually aware of this, then perhaps he's been supplying the brigade's operations this entire time.
Yeah. funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
But why would he do something like this? It's not like the Homianis are in need of money.
I honestly have no idea. I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious. The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past.
What, and this is debt fulfillment?
But that's still just a speculation. I don't think the Master would stoop so low to make Mora.
I don't think Dunyarzad knows anything about this either.
You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
If you want to get to the bottom of this, we won't be able to turn back.
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to confront her about this. I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homianis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her everything and see if she's willing to lend us her support. If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakan al-Akmar.
Dehya, are you sure this is the best decision? What if instead of getting the help we need, we just end up revealing everything we've discovered to the enemy?
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. True friendship is built on trust. She showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her kindness with doubt and suspicion. That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunyarzad too.
I will be of help to her.
Yeah. Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City.
Let's just go past Al-Haitham and Carver's house. Yeah, that's it there. That's Al-Haitham and Carver's. That's handsome men's house. That's literally what it is. The two handsome fucks house. That's why I make a note of it.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
Actually, we are still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Dee is struggling to say
You
it.
all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet.
But hey, to be fair, the Traveler never talks anyway. Paimon's been uncharacteristically quiet, though.
On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, Dunyarzad, we're back! So tell me, what happened?
Well?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
Dehya, you don't work for them anymore. You don't have to keep on referring to them as Lady and Master.
The Master? You mean my father? Okay, I understand. Don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can.
Dehya manages to explain the results of the investigation to Dunyarzad.
My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story, and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
That feels unlikely, though.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a while. In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dehya?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it.
Actually, yeah, she's got a point. Why specifically that
reach out to
group?
the Blazing Beasts?
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with Dekan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dehya into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dehya to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
That's what things are looking like at this point.
Sorry we put all of this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same. However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Dehya.
It's all right, Dehya. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility.
Yeah, no, she's
Besides,
conflicted that she'll
you're the
get
one we should all
separated
be
from
worried about
Dunyarzad
right
permanently.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was that thing about friendship again?
So friendship built on trust?
Right, yeah, trust! You said that yourself, Dehya. Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
If your trust hasn't been misplaced, then he probably has many conflicting feelings as well.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation. Let's meet at the usual place then.
Usual place? Ah, right.
Usual place? Oh, right, yeah, down here, got it.
Take it easy.
Oh, no, I thought it'd be in the underground area. Never mind, it's by the bench, isn't it? Yeah. On or near Treasure Street, over here, by this place.
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the Traveler, and next to her is her travel companion, Paimon.
Ah, yes. My daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now.
He's got a beard. He might be like secretly double identity. He might just be Beard King or whatever I nicknamed him earlier.
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
Dehya explains the issue to Shazaman and admits her doubts on him.
Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dehya, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes. I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say,
what's this got to do with Dehya? Well, it's got to be something to do with her dad, obviously, but what's happening to her dad?
Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for.
I think that's about to be revealed.
To do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekhan al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dekhan al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
Well, you were a baby.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father.
Yeah, shame he couldn't be a devoted husband either, huh?
To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time, and offered everyone...
Oh, and you can't quite let go of the past, even though they've really much gone down the shitter.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong.
That does not look like a man that would be Dehya's dad. I'm just saying.
A shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyarzad was going through a particularly severe...
Yeah, the Elazar was still in full force at that point, nearly killing her.
There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day? I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dehya.
He wanted the daughters to get along the same way he got along with the father, but he didn't want to like make that choice for him directly, so he kind of made it so Dehya would end up that way, huh?
So he was the one who recommended Dehya to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dehya could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yeah, Dehya, you got paid well because it was a favor to a friend.
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dehya as my own daughter.
Aw.
And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always send me funds anyway.
So you started sending shit back?
Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that Decano Akhmar started becoming more aggressive?
Yep, you got it in one, Paimon.
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face to discuss things, but by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dia at risk.
But by that same token, he should have also stopped asking you for materials.
That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives and weaponry. I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but I could not simply reject his plea for help. In the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel least guilty about myself.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Ooh.
No. Dia, please.
Yeah, she's upset. That's why she's just trying to bury her emotions, but her words are giving it away. She's upset. All this bullshit with her father still going on.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions.
Maybe there's another way of looking at all of this. Can you try believing in him just one more time?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I can do it. But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Deccan al-Akhmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern.
Yeah, hint, hint.
Maybe
Go
I'll
to
be
the
able
tavern,
find
wait
him
till
there.
night.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess this is bye for now, unless...
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet. My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem.
Other than sending him an email saying, or letter even, saying, is this true? What's going on? Is there some way I can help that doesn't involve letting this continue? Etc. You know, like you could have tried to push for communication more at least.
I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept whatever verdict.
Yeah,
they
but Dia's not
choose.
going to be happy with that. She's going to know the answer from her father's lips.
It's time to face my mistakes.
Ugh. Yeah, go to the tavern, come back at night. How nightly are we thinking here? Is this late enough? Aha!
Huh? Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps? Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh. Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere
Oh, whoops, clicked too soon, my bad. I was just going up to someone saying, hey, look, I know you've done all these crimes.
Back to my question. How did you all know about me?
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait. There's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway, Mora?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I waited in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick Mora.
It sounds like this is a common trend, that Dehya's dad helped people out and now is begging for returning favors.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dukan al-Akmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of Mora from my last run. Just give me a number, and I'm sure we can...
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you, though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city.
Oh yeah, D is basically threatening to just get the police involved all the way through this. That's basically what she's doing. She's like, look, don't make me get the cops on you. But look at this guy. He looks like he's just been looks like his mother's just told him off. Look at it. Oh god, all the way over here? Ugh. It really is out the way. I mean, there is a camp over here, if I recall. Well, what's left of one.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves.
Ooh.
I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Why are you here?
What does Guest Dehya's stuff have? Yeah, he's got the special weapon. Interesting, she has burst boosting. 3 constellations. Okay, yeah, okay. I think my Dehya has no talents because I've just kind of got the base upgrades and then just kind of gone from there.
Shine down. Haven't you all done enough?
Oh, there's more enemies. Hey, we might actually get the burst.
So you also need to stop us.
At some point. I want to try and show off the burst. The burst is actually kind of cool in motion.
There is no escape.
Oh, alright. Keep in mind, if it clips on anything, it will get interrupted. So I kind of want these guys to come away from it if I want to actually try and show it off. Because it can get interrupted very fucking easily. You know what? You're in. That's her burst.
Buckle up. Ha!
Where'd the other go? Oh, it's you. That's the one that's still alive. I was gonna say, where'd the other one go? You know what? Let's just wrap this up quick.
Beg for mercy.
Oh, she's so strong.
Said no one.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dehya, the boss can't come out and see you anymore.
Uh-oh, is he dead? Yeah, fuck.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
Right, that was a good one, Rob. No worries, dude. You take care, too.
When did he die? What happened to him?
Oh, dear.
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
So that's where they turned on each other.
Let me start from the beginning. Dehya, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters.
I guess that makes sense.
Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail.
So Kusala thought there was no escaping the records.
That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dehya and ended up joining our ranks. But you, Dehya, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Yeah, because he was constantly beaten in submission.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Yeah, that's because that's what he wanted, right?
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need, since the Khan al-Ahmar would soon be no more. His words made no sense to me. But that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
He got revenge.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
Well, no, he sacrificed probably himself to make sure all those records burned so you could all be free.
From that point on, the sole purpose of the Khan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that Boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack, even though we're outnumbered. We vowed to see our revenge through to the very end.
But Desheret's relics hasn't been the only victims of your revenge.
There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of supplies. From food and medicine to weaponry and explosives. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come to our aid. We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to win many impossible battles. Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
Responding to violence with more violence will only cause more pain. Do you have any idea the amount of damage you've done?
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners.
Back onto this sinners thing.
We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself. As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence. But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end.
But I don't think... I think when he burned it down, he was trying to give you all freedom, not trying to inspire anarchy.
I'm sorry, Dehya. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman ranting.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dehya? You want to go with them?
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
I had to wait for the motorbike to pass. I didn't want to speak yet. I'm on your side, Dehya.
Yeah. Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained.
I think Dehya is going to use this as an opportunity to try and steer them down a better path while still trying to get what they want. To make it they don't have to worry about all that bullshit with the Deshret relic anymore.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
Go to the hiding place of the relics, which is up here. This one will probably be the closest, because the other one will probably have to have a lot of vertical climbing, right?
Visibility is excellent. If we head to higher ground, we can do a full recon of enemy activity.
Sorry, Eula, I had to interrupt your little speech. I need to stop to Yelan just because she can move a bit quicker. Oh, right, yeah, this is the thick part of the sandstorm. I was like, man, the vision's blurring very quickly. I forgot this is this part of the fucking sandstorm. There's some parts of the map in the desert land that if you stand or walk through, the desert gets super... like, the sandstorm gets super thick. This is one of them. Because it's attempting to obscure this.
didn't run into much trouble on the way here.
Should be. I don't think they have enough manpower left to post guards and defend their perimeters.
Yeah, but if we get rid of these guys... they need to stop attacking villages. It's like Dehya, if Dehya's gonna help this old mercenary corps take down the enemy, then the mercenary corps need to leave the general public alone.
I didn't expect it to look like this on the inside.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know how many people they've got left, though.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
I've fought through many situations like this before.
Yeah. We'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits on them. Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with you here. I'll take the lead. I've been here once before.
Dude, we're playing as Dehya a healthy bit in this.
Happy to oblige.
More than usual. Like, usually it's like 1 or 2 encounters, or just a dungeon. Not 1 or 2 encounters and a dungeon, you know? Doesn't mean I'm going to be using her too much, BH. Just because my party just are so much more effective, unfortunately. And that's not even me taking a dog, like taking a shot. Even if it wasn't for, like, Dehya being the way she is, we'd still be very dominable. Just because of how much I built my team. Oh, there's still people alive. Whoops. Oh, they're spawning in en masse, that's why.
Blood of frost.
I'll be back.
Gotcha. Busted.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Almost there. We've been through a corridor and 1 room.
Wait! They went charging ahead without checking for any traps!
Man, you really checked your guns that, didn't you?
You guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped in here. Don't think we triggered anything else.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this, seems we'll have to fight our way through.
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen.
Yeah, which is why you all blindly charged in without thinking for a second, you idiots.
Let's go! We can't let the boss down!
Let's check if there's another way! The sooner we can make it through
I can see another way from behind you, Paimon. That little flashing purple thing.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked by something. Let's try our luck with that mechanism.
Okay, let's go!
Oh, okay, simple enough. For a puzzle, make the color and altitude match where it's aiming at. You're gonna wake up? Yeah, of course you are.
Busted. Illusion shattered. Look alive. Beg for mercy.
Good, if you drop Yelan's burst, though, as well... Actually, no, I take that back, because that's one of the other gripes with Dehya, is that Dehya's skill doesn't work with Yelan's
mechanism like the one before.
burst. Doesn't work with Xinyan's burst, doesn't work with
We just need to adjust a little.
Oz, if you're using Fischl. Like, it's another gripe that a lot of people have with Dehya, that her kit doesn't even, like, work with characters it's supposed to. Or it would be make her stronger if it did. Sort of like how when, we learned that Raiden Shogun's skill doesn't work with Beidou for some stupid fucking reason. Even though Beidou would have been the best character for her to be buddied with if that wasn't the case.
More speed.
Which is why now instead a lot of people do what I do, which is just have Eula with her.
Illusion shattered.
I think that will hit all three. Oh no, it only hit one because she angled. She auto aimed. Actually, I think it caught this one.
Let's get it on. Quietly now. Busted.
But yeah, looking at the time when we finish this, I imagine we do this dungeon, epilogue, and then done. We'll wrap up. Oh god. Did that hit? Yeah, that will hit. Okay. And then the color needs to change. Nice. Alright, simple puzzles. Nothing overly elaborate. What the heck? Ooh.
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the other side. But as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folks defying all expectations.
Don't waste your breath. You have nowhere to run.
Run? Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 times already.
It sounds like you have. You sound like a chain smoker.
I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of humiliation and ruin. Even now, my brothers and I still believe in one thing. The greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory?
Let us draw our weapons!
Alright, come down here then.
Show them the true power King Deshret bestowed upon his followers. They are but two, while we hold within ourselves the entirety of the relic's glory. Wave one, charge!
Okay, 1 second. Damn it! I was like, there's a treasure chest over there I want to go get.
Shudder. More speed.
Yeah, I can see from the top that there's going to be waves.
Well, King Deshret will not abandon any one of his followers.
Ow. Fuck.
Shine down. Time to go. Quietly now.
Brothers! This is where we...
Alright, dear, your time to shine.
You all just want to die?
None of us plan to leave this place alive!
Alright, and there was your part. Thanks for your help.
I condemn you.
Press your wings and raise a storm!
Goodbye. We'll meet again.
Damn it. So I can see there's a chest over there.
Finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat!
Yes! Keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back down! This is our last stand!
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attacks. I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Hey!
Get out of my way!
Come and face me, Michel! So they've broken through the front as well.
Apologies, Lord Michel. They fight like absolute...
I'm surprised they didn't kill you.
No matter how much
The Deshret man, I'm surprised they didn't just slay you down.
For more.
So, it would
I think they just did.
like this is the end.
Time to pay for everything you've done, Michel.
You think I would give you that opportunity? I will be buried in the sand, alongside all the rest of our fading glory.
Hey, wait!
God, the rendering with the popping. God, look at it. Boop, boop.
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more need to fight. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you all a good beating as well.
Shut up. They're gonna do.
Hey, Dehya! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Alright, nice. So that's a lift. Alright, let's go get our spoils. Actually, I'll let Dehya.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infamous Deshret's relics, and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to your headquarters?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side instead. How are we supposed to figure out what you're after?
Is this really a position to try and aggravate when we're winning?
Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the name of Kusela? Why would I know? It's not like I'm in charge or anything.
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. I'm just an average member here. I'm telling the truth. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every name and face with so many people coming in and out every day?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room? Answer me.
It's right over there. All the files are in there. You can go through them as much
Is
as
she
you
gonna
want.
set them alight like her dad
It's
did?
not like any of them still matter anyway.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him now. The guy who could hardly walk. Watch your mouth. That's our boss you're talking about. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away and started a fire in the records room. He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell into complete disarray.
Stop wasting our time. Every one of us here is perfectly aware of what he had done. Tell me, where is the old records room?
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it means that much to you. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever survive that kind of inferno. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try anything.
That's the second time toilets of some kind have been brought up in this quest. Alright, let's go see what happened to the old records room.
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire, right?
Dehya.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking. Let's look around. Maybe we can find something that's been left behind.
I think I admire your optimism. Everyone searches around the room.
Is this a cane? It must be the one that Dehya's father used.
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more. What if something else has been left behind?
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh?
Unless there's a secret in the cane. Yeah, there's a cutscene. There's something in the cane. How'd I know?
played with as a child?
The dragon is no more.
Aww, Kid Dehya.
Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dehya, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dehya, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
Say the line, Dehya. Say the line.
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.
Aww. The whole story was shared at the Core of 30, which finally joined the investigation restoring order. The members of the District Relics were brought to justice. Fuck, I was never going to read all of that. You guys read it. You can pause the stream.
What's this?
We got some snacks and drinks.
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy.
It's really my treat, but you get the point.
Hey, this way you get something from the both of us for the price of one. Anyway, the point is that you should eat to your heart's content. You'll feel better for sure once you've gotten something in your tummy. Dunyarzad will also be here shortly. She's already heard that we're back.
Aw, thanks you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so I didn't know what to say. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions.
That's one way of putting it.
Even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace. And I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me.
Everything just happened so fast.
Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all.
Shit.
Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different? Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth, and nearly even shed tears for his sake. We're hypocrites. All of us.
You should never question your true feelings, though.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you alright?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Core of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is wait for their verdict. Huh? Dehya, you're looking quite down again.
Paimon will explain. A lot happened while we were gone.
As the story Dunyarzad begins to cry, it takes some time for her to compose herself.
Sorry. I really should have controlled my emotions better. I just...
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
Dehya, your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't need to comfort me.
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kindness.
Hmm.
But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am.
I mean, yeah, literally.
And
You,
I will never be
the
able to leave
gold
peaceful
and in your hair always kind of gave me like a sand vibe. So it's literally like in your presence almost.
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not out for Mora. Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazaar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your family.
We'll come along too.
It's always more fun when everyone's together.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
Is that it? Oh, no, we got to go to the bazaar. I thought that was going to be kind of like the wrap-up. Like, yeah, we've had our piece, but no, there's still one more thing to say or do.
Oh, this rug here is quite something. The craftsmanship is exquisite, and the fabric is also of high quality.
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Finally, I found you. What's with that voice?
Hey! Aren't you that mercenary
Oh,
with
right.
Maid's tongue? You can still talk? Wait, are you here to take revenge on us?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I could take you all in a fight?
Right, got it. I was wondering why he sounded like that. It's because he's the guy who nearly bit his tongue
I'll
off.
be on my way to give myself up to the Corps after this. Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your presence. But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still too injured to move.
Ah, so you probably got there after us.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not going to last for much longer. I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, I might as well do the same. One of the injured members gave this box to me, and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp would get confiscated.
Sorry.
So I figured I should get this to you before the Corps could get their
Okay,
hands
look,
on
he
it.
bit his own tongue off. I'm allowed to bring it up.
Thank
But you
you.
sound stupid now.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge anyone for it.
So this box contains everything that Dia's father left behind. Huh. It feels lighter than expected.
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was spend it on things like drinks and meat. But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk. It kinda stinks.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for too long.
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That probably means this was really important to him.
Ah, and here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated. Maybe that's where the smell was coming from.
Is this just like a box of like Dia's childhood that she's not
those for
re-read?
you? Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, he always ate more than I ever did. Who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a
is it-
woman, and a hair clip?
He did remember her
These
mother.
things here.
I'm suddenly feeling a little scared.
I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of personal trash heap and dumped any and everything in there. 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
What an interesting man.
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. If I end up forgetting about it, it won't really matter. To Dehya. It's a letter for me?
You don't have to read it out loud.
It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least record down.
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault. He was never up to any good.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that I was never your father to begin with.
Wait, what?
Surely, he must be joking, right?
I don't know.
I was quite formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire
I was
desert.
joking when I said he didn't look like Dehya's father at all.
But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you. You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever. But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy.
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father. At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dehya, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child.
Oh dear. But isn't that also a good thing?
I suppose. Or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative.
Yeah, now I feel mean for calling him for being so cruel to him earlier. It's like, don't even remember who the mother was. Ugh. No, he wasn't even her father. He just took up the role and made up a story.
Yeah. It's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision that he wanted you to make?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me.
And now Dehya has a reason to continue, which has been like an ongoing thing in the background. It's why I've been saying, hey, Dehya should join us, because she doesn't have a purpose right now. She's just found one.
I just have one wish. To tell them a story. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold.
Aww.
And that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am today.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be able to find some information for you.
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic.
I don't want you to stop going
I'll
forward.
help too.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you so much. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered myself lucky, because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by incredible kindness.
Oh, yeah, and that's where that ends. Oh, okay, that actually took a turn for the real sweet at the end there. That her father was someone who chose to be her father to protect her and look after her and everything when she was left for dead. Oh, that really took a turn for the sweet in the end. Jeez. I liked both of these. The main Archon quest was insanely good. I loved the mystery it presented and what it made. But Dehya's one was just very sweet and wholehearted. Like the soul was in it with everything that it was. It was genuinely, all in all, a very good couple of quests we just did. Like, fuck. Also, unfortunately, we're way out of time. Like, we kind of ran out of time a little ago, but I just kind of cracked on. We won't be covering the event, at least... If we will, I don't know. I haven't sorted out my schedule for next week, so I might try to see if we can squeeze it in on Sunday, but I'm honestly not sure. Because Sunday is also my next day off from work, so I don't want to be, like, doing a big stream if that event's going to take forever, you know? But that'll do from me for now. As always, thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow we'll be back at Caligula Effect, continuing the grind. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It genuinely really helps the channel. In the description of every video, you can find my Twitter and Patreon. And I will see you next time for more. But until then, you guys take care now.